microphone and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 91633.
There's just some misshapen logos. The Kings logo and Niners logo, which is now going to completely mess with me because I feel like the Kings logo should be on one corner and the Niners should be on the left corner. Good morning, everybody. It is day 2 with no Jason Ross. He will, of course, be back Wednesday. There will be no Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross until, the 12th, I think we said. So there's that. I finally found out, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, and even though I think we've said it on the air, it was one of our guesses, but yeah, the 12th of August. Anyway, I know what's going to happen when we're gone, so you guys will enjoy that. A couple of calls up from the bullpen and some shifts here and there, and everything should be fine. Let's see. First off, we almost had, I was actually to the point, Chris, I didn't want to scare you, but I was honestly thinking of, play the open and then throw on Doug or Keon or something, because if many of you...
Hey, this is Doug Christie week.
Right, exactly. Just Doug every day. If you're out near Business 80, starting... Really, I think
go to business
just before Arden, somewhere in that area, maybe Fulton. I don't know what it was. I didn't see an accident. I just saw some signs that warned of delays this weekend. So I don't know what the delay was, but it came to a complete standstill. It cost about 10 minutes. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't like it was a couple months ago. But it's definitely a slowdown, and I can only imagine it, if it's doing that at 5:30, it's going to continue to get worse. So be careful if you're going out that way. You're going to get delayed at least for a while. So that's number one. Oh, what was the other thing? I had something else. Oh, I can't do spoilers, and I know this will only affect a couple of you. As you know, I'm a Star Wars guy. So I've been watching The Acolyte. I saw you respond, so you already know what I'm going to say. And our good friend, loyal listener Ryan is involved in it too. So I would watch it as well. Let me just say this, Ryan. After watching the season finale, I think everything Ryan did was perfect. It was standout and amazing. I have watched every single Star Wars. The only Star Wars I think I haven't watched. No, that's wrong. I haven't watched the Bad Batch. I've got 2 seasons left of the Clone Wars cartoon series. That's what I watch now before I take a nap.
I know you like Harry Potter.
I know. And I'm watching it because I know there's some important stuff in there. Very important stuff in there.
Well, if I don't watch this, then the next show that they come out with, I'll be completely
I'll be
lost.
totally lost. I need to understand the whole Anakin Skywalker arc.
Nothing makes a show better than feeling like it's homework.
Yeah, and honestly, the first couple seasons of that show was honestly the first couple seasons of Clone Wars was kind of a slog. I'm not going to lie, but it does make me very what is it when you look back on the past fondly. I forget the word. It makes me whatever for back when they had Saturday morning cartoons, because that's really what the Clone Wars style is. It's a half-hour cartoon, and it's very much in the, you wake up on Saturday, you watch your cartoons, you watch your Smurfs or and again, that's generational.
Is that a thing anymore?
What, Smurfs? No, I don't think. Oh, cartoon.
Yeah,
no,
Saturday
because they have channels now devoted to cartoons. Here's the thing. In my day, here's where you got your cartoons. During the week, you had about a 2-hour block where you had G.I. Joe and He-Man and Thundercats and DuckTales and that kind of thing. Well, depending on what 31 and 40 would show, that's what they'd do. You get your cartoons from like 3 to 5 when you get home from school, and then like before, I think starting at 2, because I'd know this when I was like have a sick day. Like the only thing close to tolerable programming, because my mom would be watching like Days of Our Lives, and then they'd have the game shows, which is fine. I think around 2 is when it would start, where you'd have like 3-2-1 Contact and Electric Company on Channel 6 on
the first time you were sick and you realize this, like, whoa, they've been holding out on us.
Right, what's been going on here? It's Mr. Rogers, Electric Company, 3-2-1 Contact. Like, what are we doing? I'm missing out on all this every day. Then there was a summer. It's like random stuff you get caught up in. Like I will never forget the random. So there was one random summer where I got caught up in Days of Our Lives with my mom. I think I was like 10. And then there was a random summer where I got caught up in the soap opera Santa Barbara with my mom. I was like, what am I doing here? But it I was into it. What do you want? Now it's like I've tried to go back and watch like a minute of it. So I have no idea how people can watch that. Like for real. I have no. And the thing that sucks about soap operas now is that that's taken over, where now instead of watching soap operas, that same demo, whatever that demo may be, that same demo is now like, oh, it's my 600-pound on the spectrum life of the thing, like whatever those shows are.
Real Housewives of all the cities.
Yeah, of everyone. What was the one I saw this morning on the guide? It was like Real Housewives of Dubai. Okay, well, they've got pretty much everywhere in the world now as a Real Housewife. Or what's the Dirty Butt show? Dirty Butts. They're in the forest and they're not wearing anything.
Naked and Afraid.
Naked and Afraid. Thank you.
How could I not have thought of that?
Yeah, like that's the trash. Now they've got like the trash the one with the Vandersloot's or whoever, the Vandersloot rules. Nope, Vandersloot's the guy that murdered the person. Vanderpump Rules. Sorry, that's a big difference. So yeah, that's what they have. But you would get cartoons from 3 to 5. And the thing is about the hero cartoons growing up, and now turning back, like for example, He-Man. Loved me some He-Man. Just He-Man every day, pumped me up, right? And I watched this documentary on He-Man that was on Netflix like 2 years ago. I think it's called Masters of the Universe or something. And the whole thing was like they were trying to compete with Kenner that had all the Star Wars action figures, and they were charged with like creating a brand new superhero from scratch. And so the whole point of He-Man was that everybody had something powerful inside of them. And so like when He-Man, I'm going old school here, but he'd raise his sword, like it was his regular person was, he was Prince Adam. That was his normal character, right? And then he'd raise his sword and say, by the power of Grayskull, and then lightning would happen. He'd turn into He-Man and all that. And apparently the line he has right before he tags his Tiger Crenger to turn into Battle Cat was, I have the power. And the guy who invented He-Man was like, that was a message to children, that inside of all children, they have a power within. And I was like, really? I just thought he was trying to turn the cat into a Battle Cat. Okay, I never caught that reference when I was 8. But the formula was the same, right? You have the He-Mans that are, the family, the people, they're doing their thing, and then Skeletor would roll in and just jack everything up because he was Skeletor, that's his job. And then everyone would get their ass kicked. All the good guys get their ass kicked the whole time, and then like somebody get taken hostage, or I don't know, Orko, Tila, something would happen. And then just when like it can't get any worse and everyone's just gonna die, like Prince Adam sneaks around a corner and raises his sword, and the music starts, which was just like, man, you get out of your chair and you jump and scream He-Man, like it's on. Like the music, whoever invented the He-Man music was just insane, because you'd have the song that plays when he turns into He-Man, dun, 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 and then the music would like continue as a score in the background while he's just beating the hell out of everybody. And then it would end, and they'd have like some message. Like in today's episode, Tila was taken hostage by Skeletor against her will. And it just, like when you're at school and somebody doesn't want to do something, respect their wishes and never crowd somebody's space. It'd always be something.
Have you seen someone editing the voiceovers for the G.I. Joe PSAs?
Literally one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. It's honestly, it's a rabbit hole that you're going to send some people down right now. And it's just, honestly, there's that, and there's
the quotes from that I say with my friends every day.
Oh, it's people have a lot of time on their hands, and sometimes they hit it out of the park. But the point about
nice try, Blanco Nino. That needs to be a drop. I need to grab that.
I feel like that is just a basic storyline that is used. So basically every He-Man episode was the equivalent of what I always make fun of with you, when the one wrestler's beating the hell out of the other wrestler, and then they throw him against the ropes and they like bounce off and they're going to clothesline him. But then the one that was getting his ass kicked ducks the clothesline, bounces off, and then starts beating it. Like, rule number 1 in wrestling, or top 5 rule: if you're beating the hell out of somebody, don't do the throw against the rope bounce back thing, because that's always where it changes. That's always where the momentum changes.
What if that's what your finishing move consists
Don't
of?
have that be your finishing move, bro. Come up with something else, because that's where it's going to change. Also, the count between 2 and 3 is about 3 counts. It's never 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 2, 3. If you even get there.
As a former wrestling official, I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Well, you're on the take. We all know that. So you get to, anyways, my point is that the Clone Wars is like a throwback where it comes on and it starts out, it's like, there's trouble with the Separatists. General Anakin Skywalker and his Padawan Ahsoka Tano go to Geonosis to find out the origin of, anyways. And then it cartoons, and it's fun. That being said, I'll bring it all home right now. Unlike a lot of people who are either super Star Wars nerds, which I hate, they're like, that's not canon, that's not what happened, or the ones that I equally have disdain for, which is like, you can't have a woman be a Jedi, or, that whole thing where it's like, really? Yeah, it's like, hey, you can't. That was like, what was it with the Little Mermaid? You can't have a black Little Mermaid. I'm like, it's a mermaid.
This is totally unrealistic.
This is so unrealistic. What are you talking? Anyways, those people are dumb. I don't have any time for that. I enjoyed the show. Chris, I'm telling you, it is the biggest piece of garbage ending to a Star Wars thing I've ever seen. I'm like, it is. What did I say? It's like the Coen brothers and the showrunners for Game of Thrones lost a bet and conspired to just troll everything. It is honestly, I don't know if they ran out of budget. I don't know if they fired the writers. I mean, the writing wasn't like tremendously strong the whole time, but I was with the story. I actually enjoyed the show. Some really cool lightsaber battles and some fun stuff. They just completely crapped the bed in every way, shape, or form, and they left it on a cliffhanger. I won't spoil it right now for those who haven't seen it yet. It just came out last night, but they leave it on a cliffhanger, and there's like almost 0% chance for getting a season 2. The show costs $180 million. It's the second least watched show of all the Star Wars live actions on Disney. They've got so many assets in Mandalorian 3 and Ahsoka 2 and all this other stuff. They're not great. Kathleen Kennedy ain't greenlighting the season 2. I highly doubt that. So,
But don't you make it a cliffhanger so you get like a percentage of people that say like, "Hey,
make it happen." Yeah, and then what's going to happen is like 12 years from now, the season 2 will come out because it's become a cult classic now. Anyways, I was so free. I was watching with my kid. I was so disappointed, dude. Like, and props to Ryan. He did a great job. I felt bad because I was texting with him last night on the Facebookie. And I was like, that show was such a total piece of trash at the end. I mean, they absolutely crapped the bed. But you did great. I liked all of your stuff. Must be frustrating when you work that hard on a show and it's completely out. And everyone's going to trash it now. And it's completely out of your control because you're like, I'm doing the sound. We'll take a break. We actually have a really big show for you. Of course, right after we get off the air, news broke. Brandon Aiyuk asked for a trade. So we're going to get our swing at this today. And we have a rather packed show for you today. Mark Jones, late minute edition, is going to join us at 7:30 from, I believe he's still in Las Vegas. Brendan Nunez, also from Vegas at 9, our KHTK Sacktown Sports Kings insider. Cam Inman, Bay Area News Group, writes for the Mercury and also has a book coming out about the 49ers. He's going to join us at 8 to break down what Brandon Aiyuk's up to. In the meantime, the Kings lose another coach. There was an all-star game yesterday and so much more. So sit back, relax. Good show for you today for a change. Leading off is next.
Malik Monk plays
Started
here.
left, goes right, steps back, launches the 3. Nothing but net. Oh, that was just filthy. Oh, my, that was sweet.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Okay, if you're sleeping on the hot summer styles and great prices at Kohl's, you're missing out. I just shopped there and scored stylish shirts for my husband, along with some cute crochet dresses for myself. Plus, I saved 30% with my Kohl's card. But even if you don't have one, you can still save an extra 20% on some other great finds and earn Kohl's cash. So what are you waiting for? Take your summer style from hot to sizzling and get to Kohl's. Select styles, 20% off GPO, valid through July 21st. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
Wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk has requested a trade. Aiyuk skipping the 49ers offseason program and their mandatory minicamp over his desire for a new contract as he enters the final year of his rookie deal, and the Niners are scheduled to report in a few days. Adam Schefter reporting that teams have inquired about Aiyuk's availability this summer, but the team continues to have no intention of trading the wide receiver at this point.
Okay. Brandon Aiyuk has respectfully asked for a trade as we get to training camp. He is respectfully. I am respectfully asking for a trade. Not angrily. Respectfully. You kind of got a feeling this was coming. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think it was last week, actually, when that receiver show came out on Netflix. The way they were showing the whole Deebo Samuel thing, it really makes you go, oh yeah, there's no way Deebo's going anywhere. I mean, it really, as much as they spent time on Devontae Adams, basically like, what the hell did I do? Why am I here? With Deebo, it was, all about family and talent and everybody praising him. You got to think that made Brandon Aiyuk feel a certain sort of way. But if Aiyuk's watching the show, and I'm sure he is, he need not. And by the way, Raider fan, I'm not trying to start the whole thing right now this early. I'm just making a point that when you look at Devontae Adams' frustrations playing with the Raiders and specifically Jimmy Garoppolo last year, took a lot of money, and maybe that decision was predicated more about the money than the location. It really does bring up kind of an interesting conundrum for a guy like Aiyuk. Is do you say, I need to get mine. He's going into the last year of his rookie option. I think $14 million is what he would make, and then the Niners could tag him next year and keep him here as well for at least another 2 seasons. So, do I compete for a title? I'm in the only place I've ever known professionally. I'm comfortable here. I like my teammates, and by all accounts, he loves it in San Francisco or in Santa Clara and loves where he plays. He just wants to get paid well. Or do I get the bag? But in the case of like Devontae Adams now, especially at that point in his career, Aiyuk's a little bit younger. Adams is getting paid, but he's also taking huge hits. He said in episode 1, he's like, I'm getting hit more than I've ever gotten hit in my entire life. I'm getting absolutely, obliterated out there. So how do you balance winning and relevance and competing for a title versus getting paid and securing the bag and making sure your family is taken care of? And that's kind of where Aiyuk is right now. And we'll talk a lot more about this, including with Cam Inman. Also, this does kind of follow the John Lynch pattern. Generally, the stars hold out, ask for trades, do whatever right around this time. You saw that with Nick Bosa last year, who ended up signing in early September. I think it was Debo the year before. There's one other guy I'm forgetting, but there's been like 3 holdouts, and then they come to some sort of conclusion. I'm not saying that's necessarily going to be the case with Aiyuk because I don't know how they keep everybody. Plus, they drafted Ricky Pearsall, who is going to start camp injured. But it would be a minor shock and definitely a change in protocol for John Lynch if he honored Brandon Aiyuk's request. But we'll get to a lot more of that coming up later. In the meantime, cut number 2, please.
Cut number 2.
Take the extra base if he puts it in play, and this one may be out of play. He smacks one to right, and it is way out of here. Jaron Duran about 25 rows up, and now the American League is on top, 5-3.
Hey, you had an All-Star game yesterday. And honestly, I had fun. I had fun watching it. There is no doubt that the baseball All-Star game is the best of the 3 major All-Star games. Obviously, the Pro Bowl doesn't count. It's just whatever. And the NBA All-Star game has pretty much gotten to that point. It's basically the Pro Bowl at this point.
I did have a major problem with the All-Star game.
The uniforms?
They were hideous.
They were absolutely disgusting. And I don't, look, I know that I've learned that, and this isn't just an age thing. This has been my whole life. There's some styles that I don't get. I just don't get it, and I acknowledge I don't understand.
What I miss is back in the day when they used to have their own jersey.
100%, and you just give them and you have an all-star hat.
Yeah,
that's how it should be. But the problem is somebody figured out years ago that if they have their own jersey, then that means you can't sell new jerseys.
Cash grab.
It's a total cash grab because everybody wants their favorite players.
Wait a minute. They're just going to get their own jersey and then buy the patch?
And that's the thing, is that maybe the answer is a hybrid between the home jersey. And I understand just slapping a patch on there, but you can buy the patch and glue it on or sew it on. But maybe there's some sort of hybrid where you have your home jersey, but maybe with like some all-star bunting in the sleeves or collar. I don't know, some way to where you have to buy the jersey, but it doesn't look like a rainbow had diarrhea, which is basically what yesterday's jerseys look like. That being said, it was enjoyable. Some good news is the winning pitcher is the, we believe, last Oakland Athletic to ever play in the All-Star game, in Mason Miller, who had 2 strikeouts, 1 inning on just 12 pitches, and said good morning, good afternoon, good night to Shohei Ohtani. Paul Skeens came in. Everyone got the Aaron Judge matchup they wanted, and that was a 1-swing see you later. That was fun to watch. The bad news, Logan Webb and weirdly enough, his All-Star debut. I didn't realize that. That's weird. Not one to remember, as he gave up 3 earned on 4 runners in 1 inning. And he now has an All-Star ERA of 27, if you will. So between Logan Webb and Hunter Green of the Reds. That's your 5 American League runs that were given up. It was fun. I enjoyed it. But we'll talk a little bit later on, could the Major League Baseball All-Star Game be the key to improving the NBA All-Star Game? We'll talk about that in a second. In the meantime, I'm going to shift on the fly here. Go ahead. Cut number 3, please.
Cut number 3.
With broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight.
Okay, I won't subject you anymore. I can't believe I didn't put this on the rundown. I just remembered it. We went. This is why sometimes it's smart to not just completely go in on somebody, because you never ever know. Now, Chris and I were talking yesterday, and where I'm getting at here is the person that sang the national anthem at the home run derby. What the hell was her name? Adele something, or Ingrid? Was it Ingrid? Ingrid Andress?
Yes.
Yeah. So she went shortly after we got off the air. Chris sent me this message from her Instagram that she put up.
Like 5 minutes after we
Everything
got off
happened right after we got off the air. I'm not going to BS y'all. I was drunk last night. I'm checking myself into a facility today to get the help I need. That was not me last night. I apologize to baseball, all the fans, and this country I love so much for that rendition. I'll let y'all know how rehab is. I hear it's super fun. XO Ingrid. By the way, a lot of people took exception with her last line. I hear that's an obvious. She's obviously being sarcastic, if you will.
Oh, I'm going to go to the gym today. It's so much fun.
So great. I hear the gym is amazing. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's your answer. And of course, in this day of snark, of course, like, no, she's making this up because she flubbed it. Look, hey, dude, if she's making up a whole I'm an alcoholic and I'm going to rehab because I was drunk thing, then
there's easier ways to
much easier. and so look, there's I don't feel any sort of guilt about pointing it out yesterday, even after that explanation, because look, number one, let's acknowledge substance abuse is a real thing. People suffer from it. Good for her and getting help. And wish her all the best. We heard her from her album yesterday. We heard a live performance. There was something off. On the other, also, by the way, it's much like we talked about the other country singer who wore the jeans with the open flap, and you saw the, hee-haw walking around on stage there for everyone. Like, where is your crew? Where are the people that are like, bro, you're hammered? And maybe they didn't notice, but still, you're wasted. Is there an understudy? Is there a backup? Can anyone sing, please? So that wasn't a great idea. And honestly, I'm glad it's that, because again, I was texting with Chris and like, gosh, do I feel guilty about this? No, but had she come out yesterday and she was like, I have throat cancer and that's what happened and that's why I can't sing, then it's like everyone who ripped her is like, oh God, okay, sorry. That's why you always got to kind of hold back a little. But in this case, look, it's a disease. Good for her. She's getting help. Drunken national anthems, man. Doesn't work.
Isn't that how the national anthem should be sung?
Well, not in her case. But am I the only one that immediately went back and forced myself to listen to it one more time just to hear if like, oh, but then I went back and listened. I was like, nope, I can't tell she's hammered. It just sounds terrible. There was no like hiccuping or slurring. There's no bombs red Claire. There was none of that. Didn't know. So don't drink a national anthem on national TV before a major sporting event. Don't do that. And this, one-hitter gambler and all that stuff. We'll take a break. When we come back, Brandon Aiyuk wants to go bye-bye. What does this mean? We'll talk about it next.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out sacktownsports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on sacktownsports.com.
If you've been on the American River, it's uphill, it's downhill. There's trails everywhere that you can walk, and it just makes you happy. And I couldn't walk, and it was terrible. I was turning into a real crab. I went to the Good Feet store, and I tried on the arch supports. I could not believe that I was not in pain. I can walk, I can run, I can jump, I can do anything. My name's Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Chris is currently out of the room right now, and I don't know what buttons to press. At some point, he's going to run back in and hit something, but I think he's going to print something out. So rather than you listen to silence, I thought I'd come in here and take this moment to talk about something that's very important to all of us, stuffed pasta shells. Completely underrated. I'm talking about manicotti. I'm talking about those oversized shells, and I'm doing this on the fly here. I'm talking about ricotta cheese.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool has been put away. Now is the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
We had a technical difficulty during the break. So on the fly, I was doing a read on stuffed pasta shells, whether manicotti or oversized. I was oversized, shells. I was just getting to the good part, man. We had these the other night, and ricotta cheese is a must. Maybe you stir in some spinach, maybe some sausage, whatever you then put some red sauce or Alfredo. But I will tell you this, man. You want to blow away your not blow away because it's not that big of a deal, but there's a secret ingredient on those stuffed shells. Little couple pinches of nutmeg. Trust me. In the bowl of ricotta with all the other stuff, throw that in there. Next time you have stuffed shells, they're not going to put nutmeg in it. So do yourself a favor, like take a forkful, just tap a little nutmeg on there, eat it. So maybe you don't like it, you don't ruin your whole batch. But nutmeg, the secret to stuffed shells.
Have you ever had like a meal like that where someone made it so well that it kind of ruins the dish for you from anybody else?
Yes, it does. Yes.
I had a friend make stuffed shells that were incredible, but like every time I have them again, it's just like,
It's not the same. I've been there. Yes, that you could that could apply to a lot of things where you experience something and it's so amazing that it's ruined everything else for the rest of your life involving that. Anyways. So we have our answer to the national anthem from yesterday. Now we have Brandon Aiyuk, who is not happy with the 14, I think it's 14.1 million he's set to make next year. We're gonna have Cam Inman with the Bay Area News Group, or the BANG, an acronym. That's Mike Breen's favorite news group. He will join us at 8 a.m. We'll talk about that, also his Niners book coming out. So what do you do? What do you do with this Brandon Aiyuk thing? It was fairly it was fairly obvious there was an issue. We're going to play this. I think it's about 60 seconds, give or take. This is Brandon Aiyuk's Q&A at the end of last season. And he does not sound like a happy camper.
What was the last 48 hours been like for you, just kind of emotionally? How have you kind of processed this?
Ups and down. Not that fun.
Brandon, there's been some stuff on social media. Is there a certain message that you want to get out there as you kind of enter this offseason and there might be contract talks?
A certain message? No.
Is your hope to remain with the 49ers moving forward?
If that's the right move, yeah.
What would that right move look like for you?
Being a champion.
Brandon, at what point are you at this, right now, just digesting the season? Where do you guys are? How it went?
All over the place, just like different emotions all day. I don't know.
All right. I'm split on this, man. I always side with 95% of the time I side with the athlete. Get your bag, dude. Seriously, get your bag. Get paid. This one's a little bit different because I think there's a hybrid for Brandon Aiyuk here. Brandon Aiyuk's an incredibly talented receiver. He full props. But there's also something to, dude, you're playing in Kyle Shanahan's offense. You're playing with some tremendous talent that's going to take pressure off of you. Good luck doubling Brandon Aiyuk. Go ahead, because now you're on full-on single coverage on Kittle or McCaffrey or Debo. He talked about competing for a title. There's no team that has competed for more titles over his career without winning one, obviously, than the 49ers. The only other place would be the Chiefs, really, he could go to that would fulfill that as much as San Francisco or more. I feel like if I'm Brandon Aiyuk's brother, uncle, best friend, whatever, I'm saying, dude, if you got to get paid, but if you can find a hybrid where you can have a nice, generationally wealthy contract and stay with San Francisco, and you have the best of both worlds, go for it, because you see the examples all the time. If you go just straight for the cash, then you're Davante Adams, and that's really the best example right now. You go from Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay, and they weren't competing as much as the Niners were per se for titles, but they were in the mix, definitely. But you're also catching passes from one of the best to ever do it. You're with an incredibly stable franchise. And then next thing you know, you're on Netflix freaking out because Jimmy Garoppolo is absolute trash and is hanging you out to dry. That Davante got paid. But you also wonder if some of Davante's anger is that part of the allure of playing for the Raiders, other than you're playing for, the Shield, one of the most iconic franchises there is or ever was. You're playing in Vegas, which has got to be fun and exciting. You have a brand new stadium. You're playing across from Max Crosby. I'm not saying that there wasn't other appeal, but if you're Davante Adams, how much of playing with your ex-teammate Derek Carr was the allure to coming there? And then Derek Carr, of course, having his shortcomings, as Raider fan knows all too well, but to go from, well, hey, maybe Derek missed one, but that's my guy, to I don't know who this chump is, but he sucks, and I'm tired of running these routes and getting killed. And there's, by the way, Raider fan knows that this is there's a fairly similar example in history to this in Randy Moss. I remember when the Raiders got Randy Moss, it's like, oh my God, This is insane. This is awesome. Good for them. That's a good get. And I'm not defending what Randy did, but I think after like the 5th time where he went across the middle and the pass was high and he had to expose his ribs and he got just jacked up. Again, Raider fan knows this. The last 5-6 games of his tenure with the Raiders, Randy Moss didn't run his routes. Randy Moss was like, Randy Moss looked so bad at times with the Raiders towards the end of that year that it honestly, there were questions about, is Randy done? Like, is that it? He was 28. Remember, he had 2 years with the Raiders. So after that last season, he played 13 games and he had 553 yards and 3 touchdowns at 29. So it's like, oh, Randy's done. Wow, that cliff was quick. Because his first year at the Raiders, he was a 1,000-yard receiver, had 8 touchdowns. It's not terrible. It's fine. Then he goes to New England at 30 years old and goes for 1,500 yards and 23 touchdowns, a career high. And that's just the difference between how franchises work. You went from a franchise that was not building around, did not have that talent, but you're the man, you got the bag. And then he goes to the Patriots. It's a whole different ball. He's not the man. He's one of the men, but he's not the man. But it was a hybrid. He got paid, but also became relevant again. And that's the problem Davante Adams is dealing with right now. That's the problem Brandon Aiyuk's dealing with right now. 2 franchises, 2 completely different situations, 2 completely different receivers, but both kind of with a similar problem. And Adams made his bed. Aiyuk still got an opportunity to change the sheets. It'll be really, really curious, honestly, what Aiyuk, how this develops. But if I had to guess, I would say there's going to be some sort of, again, if you believe history, there will be some sort of resolution on this next month in August, or even maybe as late as early September, but I don't think it will take as long. These holdouts aren't easy, though. $50,000 a day, I think was the mini camp fine. I think it's $10,000 a day for training camp. That adds up. And not a lot of people, sometimes eventually the player will just say, I don't have the energy for this. I need to talk to somebody else because the strategy isn't working. Let's figure it out. And they go and they get a second opinion. Just like you would if your HVAC system was hurting or broken and you needed to get a second opinion, you go to my guys at American Energy Heating and Air, who offer a second opinion for you. If you called somebody else, no harm done. Everybody's got the people they work with, or you see the ad or the sign, or you got the magnet on your fridge. That's fine. All American Energy is saying is, hey, guys, we've been around since 81. We got an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Our Google and Yelp reviews are amazing. Give us a crack at that job. Let us come out for free. Let us assess it for free. Worst case scenario, and I'm saying that with air quotes, you got a great offer from another company, and you have the peace of mind knowing you got a great offer from another company. You have nothing to lose. It costs you nothing to have that confirmed. Best case scenario, that offer was meh, okay, or not great, and you just saved a bunch of money. Either way, it's a win-win situation for you. 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable. We'll take a break. When we come back, say 4 outs, All-Star Edition, and can baseball help basketball? We'll do that next.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sacktown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into 3. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
18 number ones.
What was I thinking?
Countless ACM and CMA awards.
Sold out world tours. And now Dierks Bentley is coming to Sacramento for Country in the Park 2. September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Parmalee, Dan Show, Kelsey Hart, and more, plus line dancing, food trucks, and more. Tickets available now at CITVFest.com.
Brought to you by McKee Brothers, Clemmy, Reuter & Heath, and Dawson Oil Company.
DQ presents Picture This. Picture the DQ freezer, home to all the Blizzard flavors of the past. Picture it opening to bring back the salted caramel truffle blizzard for a limited time. Picture that salted caramel truffle blizzard in your hands. It's all yours. No, really, it's all yours. This treat is too good to share. Everyone will have to get one for themselves. Hurry in to get this flavor before the DQ freezer closes. DQ, happy tastes good.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go. So I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partnered with Beacon. With their unique Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through September 15th, purchase GAF through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
Grab the keys to a new fuel-efficient Toyota. Let's go! Hit the open California road this summer with incredible MPG and peace of mind. With fewer fill-ups, you can explore further and make the most of those long summer days. Choose from Toyota's 16 hybrid and electrified models, more than any other brand, and go the distance with Toyota's class-leading fuel efficiency and reliability. It's time to make this summer one to remember. Toyota. Let's go places.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, the A's first pick in this year's draft is Wake Forest first baseman Nick Kurtz. Now, Kurtz, a 6'5" left-handed hitter, has drawn comparisons to Matt Olson and maybe even Hall of Famer Jim Thome. And even though the A's had the fourth pick in the draft, A's scouting director Eric Kubota said that Kurtz was the first pick on their board.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver that includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay to store bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at PowerCopier.com.
Safe or out? It's time to go around baseball. 3 pitches, 3 swings. It's safe or out on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
If you're just joining us, Mark Jones will join us at 7:30. Talk about what's going on down in Vegas and also the King. We haven't checked in with Mark in the offseason. So we'll talk about all these moves. He's a national guy, too, so, he knows all about DeRozan. Plus, being a Canadian, there's got to be some sort of Raptors, DeRozan, Mark Jones connection, I'm sure. Cam Inman from the Bay Area News Group is going to come on at 8 to talk about this Brandon Aiyuk trade request. And speaking of Brandon's, Brendan Nunes. I finally figured out with Brendan, the reason why his name is so difficult for some, including me. It's not a difficult name. Brendan's not difficult. Nunes isn't difficult. But I think what happens is I look at his name written, and I think it should be Brandon Nunez. And then I have to correct Brandon to Brendan. And then Nunez, that's the hard one. Nunes to me is Nunez. But it doesn't have the thingy above it. So it's Nunes.
Usually a Z.
Huh?
And there's usually
a Z. So there's like a double take, his first and last name. In the meantime, it's Chris Verlode with 3 for Madness, question 1.
Safe or out? Shohei Ohtani is the most electric player in baseball.
Yeah, I think that's safe. I mean, there's definitely candidates there for sure. Ellie De La Cruz is amazing. Speaking of your Cruzes, O'Neal Cruz with the it's like 6'10" shortstop they have is phenomenal to watch at times whenever he's healthy. There's a lot of candidates, but dude, Shohei Ohtani gets to the plate. It's just like there's every generation of baseball has a handful at best of players that you just stop what you're doing. And my wife was gone last night. It was Mason and me chilling. I'm in the kitchen because Melissa's gone. What am I making for dinner? You guessed it, Sloppy Joe's. And I put down the wooden spoon I'm mixing the ground beef with and just go out and watch the Ohtani at bat where he jacked that home run. And then I go back to start stirring the meat again, but don't leave the wooden spoon in there because I burned my hand because it got super hot. But that's the thing. That's the Shohei Ohtani effect. A lot of people have burned a lot of food because of Shohei Ohtani's at-bats, and I think, we're not even talking about his pitching when he's there, too. Number 2, please.
Safe or out? The All-Star game was very enjoyable.
I'm going to say safe. I enjoyed it. Look, it's an All-Star game. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be I wish Paul Skeens could have gotten 3 innings. I loved watching Mason Miller. But you have the best of the best in a situation where they're competitive. Like, they want to win, and they're not screwing around. You don't see guys. I mean, imagine if the baseball All-Star game was the equivalent to basketball. You'd see, like, pitchers up there lobbing them at, like, 75 miles an hour, batters not running anything out, no double plays turned. Everybody in the field is just like, if it's to me, great. But if not, whatever. No, they're actually playing. So, yeah, I thought it was incredibly, not incredibly, it's the wrong word. I thought compared to basketball and compared to the Pro Bowl, it was incredibly entertaining. Number 3, please.
Now that the All-Star game is over, safe or out? Baseball season can finally begin.
Safe. This is where I'm going to start to care. That's just me. The Midsummer Classic, that means that we're done with the first half of summer, which we have been. We're on the downslope. Much like basketball, for example, it's not the halfway point. Most teams have played, like, for example, the Mariners have played 98 games. So usually between around 96 and 98 have been played, which means you have 64 left in a 162 game season. So you're well over half. And now it gets fun. This is, for me, the baseball All-Star game is the marker to where I much like I told you, Chris, when Christmas hits in the NFL playoffs is the first time I really start getting like that little, like, okay, I know we got a long time for it, but here we go on the downslope. Football playoffs are starting. That means football season's near an end. Football goes bye-bye, then you're into baseball playoffs or basketball playoffs. Then that comes to an end. And then as much as I start to get depressed when the new year hits, the baseball All-Star game is where I start to get a little tingly, where it's like, okay,
we're on the downslope.
We're on the downslope, baby. We still got time to go here. There's still going to be, but okay. For example, after today, got 4 more shows, and I'm gone for like a long time.
When you come back, football will be back.
When I come back, football will have returned, sort of. You've got the Hall of Fame game that's going to be coming up. What the hell is the Hall of Fame game? Is August 1st. And when I get back on the, I think it's the 12th. Yeah, dude. There will have been all kinds of preseason games, including that Saturday, August 10th. You have both the Niners and the Raiders playing. It's a full preseason slate. So now you come back. It's a return of 4-down territory. You got the preseason games coming. Next thing you know, NFL season opens. Basketball training camp opens. Media day. Then basketball opens. Temperatures cool down, and we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to announce we are almost back. Just a few more weeks to go of searching for topics out of the cushions of the couch, pretending to be more into the Olympics than you really are, caring about things like a Brandon Aiyuk trade request that probably won't mean anything, but boy, are we going to cover it to the gills because there's nothing else to talk about other than a national anthem that was sung drunkenly. Like, we're almost at the end, baby. And I am happy.
I think Saturday will be my first baseball game this season.
Is that so?
Yeah.
You know what? That sounds about right. I might throw it on this weekend because you know what? It matters now. Now baseball actually matters. You got the fluff out of the way. LFG, as the kids say. We'll take a break. When we come back, the AL wins the All-Star game, and you know what? Baseball is in good hands. We'll talk about that next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
The Open Championship celebrates its 152nd anniversary this month at Royal Troon in Scotland. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. The game's top players assemble for a chance at the coveted Claret Jug. The Open Championship is about tradition, excellence, and class. And you'll find similar qualities at Naturewood Home Furnishings as they assemble the finest furniture and brand choices for your selection. When you visit Naturewood, you'll be amazed at the gallery of superior furniture available for your lifestyle, for your decor, for your home. This weekend during Naturewood's bedroom sale, you're sure to find the perfect piece you've been searching for. Naturewood is proud to bring you Open Championship updates on this station and proud to offer you the finest furnishings available. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the Waterbury.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what you doing for Chrysler's Make This the Summer sales event?
Well, this month we have something special that only happens once a year. Big savings on one of America's most capable minivans. Right now you can save up to $17,000 off MSRP on all remaining 23 Chrysler Pacifica hybrids, and that's on all trims.
Now, you said Chrysler Pacifica hybrids. Those things get 82 miles per gallon E with gas prices so high and $17,000 off MSRP. That's a no-brainer.
And a deal like this only happens once a year, so this is the time to take advantage of this savings at the dealership and at the pump.
The savings won't last long. Stop by Hoblet Dodge for a test drive today or search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$17,000 total net savings after $7,500 factory rebates and $9,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include $7,500 federal EV tax credit offered by a third party and subject to change. Consult a tax professional for details and eligibility. 82 MPGE combined city highway rating based on fueleconomy.gov EPA rating. Send this net savings while supplies last. See dealer for details.
I'm a very active person that likes to move around and go. The pain I was in was really excruciating. It was actually debilitating. I was basically heading towards a sedentary lifestyle. I had really tried everything, but I quickly lost hope with all of the things that we had tried, and that's what led me to the Good Feet store. And when I found the Good Feet system, it really just changed everything. It brought me back to life. I have my active lifestyle back.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
The wild-eyed Southern boys are back. 38 special. Rock it into the night. Friday, July 19th at 7:30 at the venue at Thunder Valley. With Lou Graham, the original voice of Foreigner. Tickets on sale now. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss 38 Special Live.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back. Terrible news from terrible news this morning on my way in. That was the one thing I said I forgot about. I forgot to talk about something in the open. Mark Jones, by the way, joining us at the bottom of the hour here. Terrible news from my other job. They every year do a charity event. And in this case, the charity event, they raise money, and it's for a children's hospice charity out there, which I like. Basically, military and kids are like, you can't, like, to me, that's, you can't go wrong. Like, the best charities. So I get, it's called like Walk for Pounds or something. And my guy out there was like, hey, are you going to be out there at the time of this thing? I was like, actually, I will be out there. Okay, well, we'd love for you to participate. It would be super cool. It's like, awesome. What are we doing? I am in. Like, well, it's a 2-day event. Okay. We're actually getting hotels. Okay. We're walking 35 miles. What? We're walking 25 on day one, staying in a hotel, walking 10 the next day. I don't think I care about anything enough to walk 35 miles in 2 days. Like, honestly, like if it was like, oh, your kids are in trouble. 35 miles though? Can I Uber?
So 500 miles is out of the question.
Like the song? Yeah. I would not walk 500 miles. Can I be like, who was that one marathon lady? Was it Joan Benoit? No, it wasn't Joan Benoit. Remember, it was like the LA Marathon in the 80s or 90s or something. What wasn't there a lady that like came out of the crowd? I swear to God this happened. It's not just some random brain firing from me. There's some lady that like came out of the crowd on the final stretch of the marathon and like won it or finished in the top 5.
Rosie Ruiz.
What year was that?
1980.
Was it the LA marathon? Was it LA or something?
I'm trying to find out because he was a marathon, the Boston Marathon.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Which isn't one you should cheat in.
No, not at all. I'm just saying, like, I'll do that. Can I like roll out at like if they're walking 35 miles, I'll start walking like mile 30, like mile 32. I'll walk 3 miles. No problem. Mile 32, I roll in. Somebody goes, hey, where you been? I go, I've been here the whole time. Yeah, no, I've just been. There's like 200 people doing this walk. Like I could just roll in. Do you have to walk? What? Could I get like one of them electric scooters? Just to, not like the kind you sit on at Walmart. I'm talking about like the ones that look like surfboards with just the handles on it. I don't know. 35 miles?
35 miles of that wouldn't be fun.
Matt says there's breakfast sandwiches at the finish line. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And good, and that's awesome. But, you know, it's like, 35 miles. Hey, you get juice and breakfast sandwiches at the end. Now I'm in. That's like your buddy who says, hey, can you help me move? I'm getting pizza. Yes, I can roll over, destroy my weekend, 8 hours of free labor for, a couple slices of Little Caesars. Not that there's anything wrong with that. No. But then I do. I don't think I've ever turned anybody down who's asked me to help them move. I just don't like it when they ask because I feel obligated. Like you kind of have to help. The AL won the All-Star game yesterday, 5-3. Last ever Oakland A's All-Star. Mason Miller gets the win. And one thing I did realize, or like two things I realized watching the game yesterday at Christopher Lodge. Number one, I honestly, there were like actual current All-Stars. I didn't know who they were. This is the state of me in baseball right now. Like I'm looking at I'm going to make myself vulnerable here. I'm going to open myself up to attack. Okay. I'm looking at the lineups for the AL and NL All-Stars. They all have the last name and then the first name. Okay. So Ketel Marte, I know that guy. R. McMahon, second baseman. Chris, do you know who R. McMahon is? Second baseman, played in the All-Star game yesterday.
Is he related to Vince McMahon?
That's what I thought, or Ed McMahon. Ryan McMahon, Colorado Rockies. Didn't know. No idea. Shohei Ohtani, of course. Marcell Ozuna. Yep, no problem. Trey Turner. Okay, shortstop. C. Abrams.
Nope.
Yep. Again, if I'm asking you, it's because I don't know, so don't feel on the spot here.
JJ's cousin?
You're close. CJ Abrams. Will Smith, Christian Yelich.
No Will Smith.
Yeah, Pete Alonso, Alex Boehm, Ellie De La Cruz, Teoscar Hernandez. Ooh, I think I know this one. Jay Merrill. I don't, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. Jay Merrill, center fielder.
No
right?
clue.
Jackson Merrill, San Diego. These are two people that literally work full-time in sports. Jurickson Profar. Okay, B. Reynolds, because all I'm thinking is Bert. B. Reynolds.
That would be incredible.
For the Pirates, 6'2", 29 years old, left fielder, Brian Reynolds. Nope, no idea. How about the AL? Stephen Kwan, no problem. Is that Ryan Green? Hold on. Nope, Riley Green. Sorry. Gunnar Henderson, Corey Seager, Bobby Witt, Juan Soto. Is it Adam Santander? Yeah, we don't know. Anthony Santander. Orioles. Aaron Judge, Jaron Duran, who I just recently learned about, Yordan Alvarez, D. Fry. D. Fry. Any idea? No. You and I are on the same page. David Fry, Guardians, catcher. This is the saddest thing ever if you're listening to this right now. Two people that have been in sports for a long time, lifelong baseball fans, who, like, I think that's 7 or 8 All-Stars we don't know.
What I used to have to do basketball camp during the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So I would tape the All-Star game to make sure I got to see it when I got home.
Right.
Because I was so into it.
100,000%, dude. You're so right. W. Castro, Juan. That was a joke. See, Juan's not spelled with a W. Willie with an I. Well, technically, Willie with 2 I's, Castro. And by 2 I's, I mean in his name. I. Paredes. Isaac Paredes. Tampa Bay Rays, third baseman. Yeah, dude. Adley Rutschman, Salvador Perez, Marcus Semien, and then finally Jay Westberg. Jordan Westberg, another one of them Orioles. By the way, anyone else notice all the new Orioles talent looks like literally like they cloned them? I saw a four shot of like Adley Rutschman and 3 of the other new dudes, including the one that's like the one that got sent back down to the minors. They all look like they're related. It's incredibly insane how look-alike they are, especially in their Orioles uniform. My point was, as a couple of lifelong baseball fans, I wonder if it's in a vacuum with us or if that's just a thing, because the numbers don't necessarily reflect it. There hasn't been this massive drop in ratings. There hasn't been this massive drop in attendance. The valuations of the teams are continue to go up. So it makes me wonder sometimes, is that just us and a few others, or is there this collective? It's never 100%, but this collective thought of, yeah, baseball's not what it was. That being said, I'm watching the game with my son, who is 15 years old. When I was 15 years old, baseball was by far my favorite sport. The Kings were here. Didn't matter. I loved the Kings, but baseball was number one. Baseball was number one. Will Clark was in his prime. Everything was hunky-dory. Played bases loaded on Nintendo. Collected baseball cards and went to had a little Beckett magazine subscription I get for Christmas. Everything was baseball, dude. I look over at my son.
I used to have standings charts in my room.
100%.
Of like the little pennants.
Yes.
I would look at the baseball. I would look at the paper, look at it, and like, okay, well.
And move the pennants?
Yes.
That's so awesome. That's so cool. And I don't think that's probably fairly unique, but I don't think it's that unique that, we were all obsessed with it. I mean, the Sandlot, the whole thing. I look over at my son. He's watching the game with us. It's just guys' night, Sloppy Joe's baseball all-star game. We're watching it. And I start doing to him what I was just doing to you. I'm saying, hey, I looked it up. Hey, who's this guy? Who's this guy? My son played Little League for 4 years, decided he'd rather play basketball and soccer. And Little League just wasn't fun for him. Didn't give him nearly the thrill the other sports did. He's dedicated himself full-time to those other two sports. And when it comes to watching it, it's like literally his third, maybe fourth favorite sport. And part of me feels terrible. Like, have I as a father failed him? Unlike the way but he knows I'm a Giants fan. We've had plenty of baseball games on. I've taken him to baseball games. I've done everything for him baseball-wise my dad did for me. I think baseball is going to have a real interesting wake-up call in about 10 years. I think it's coming with this generation. But that doesn't mean there's not talent, dude. My takeaway from the All-Star game was that there's a lot of really good, young, badass talent. Whether it's your Shohei Ohtani's, not necessarily young, to your Ellie De La Cruz's, to your Adley Rutschmans, your Mason Millers, on and on. You have your Giants in the game again, and Ohtani, Aaron Judge, stuff like that. There are equivalents, pretty much. I can look at players today and compare them to players in the 90s or 2000s and go, oh, okay, well, this is like this generation's version of Griffey. This is this generation's version of, Sammy Sosa or Mark McGwire, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't think it's the same, not just for us. I don't think it's the same for kids. I really don't. I could be wrong. We'll take a very, very quick break. When we come back, 3 for Madness, we will ask an NBA question, and we'll base that on the All-Star game yesterday. Also, a bad day for a top pick, and we say goodbye, happy trails, to a player we all know and probably dislike in the NBA. We'll do that next.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
Mark Jones in 15 minutes. 3 for Madness immediately. Question 1, please.
Should the NBA give home court advantage to the All-Star Game winner?
So I was thinking about this yesterday because baseball did this. They stopped doing it. But baseball did this for a while. The winner of the All-Star Game, that team, if the AL won in the World Series, that team would have home court advantage. Look, the NBA All-Star Game sucks. The players don't care. It's not competitive, and they make way too much money for money to be a motivating factor. So I'm at the point where even though I hated the fact that baseball had the home court or home field, I should say, decided by a stupid All-Star Game, I'm actually at the point in the NBA where I'm thinking, they're not going to do away with the All-Star Game. They're not going to change it. So are we just forced to watch this moneymaker for the NBA every year, like jury duty, that just sucks? I'm actually at the point it's 100% a cash grab. That's why they won't get rid of it. I'm kind of 100% at the point where I go, you know what? I don't know what could make this competitive. I don't want to involve draft picks or anything stupid. Let's go with the NBA Finals home court advantage, and that way everybody's competitive. And yeah, if you're an all-star that's from a crappy team, well, the other guys you're still going to be competitive because you don't want to be that guy. Maybe that's a key to making the All-Star Game better. I'm not 100% convinced. I could be talked off of this ledge, but I can't, off the top of my head, think of anything that would work better to reinstate some competition other than that. Like, legit, the winning team can get like $50 million. It's not really going to make a difference. So,
and the NBA has become such a grind, especially with how long the postseason is. So especially if you're an all-star, most likely you went deep in the playoffs.
That's right.
This season, you're going to the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to come back, start the season, go to the all-star break. At that point, you're like, dude, I need a break. Like,
you're 100% right. Think about, Steph didn't go, I'm trying to think because Steph's a little older. Let's just say Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum won a championship. Now he's going to go to the Olympics. He's going to do that. Then he's going to play a full season. You hope no injuries. And then, about right around the time the All-Star break hits, he's like, let's see, a week off with my family that I don't get to see a ton during the season, just resting my legs and my knees. Or, and again, not that we're feeling sorry for multi-jillionaire players, but just to point out, contrary to popular belief, the All-Star weekend is not players show up and play in the All-Star game and have a shoot-around. Generally, they're involved in multiple events. That's number one. Number two, there are multiple media availabilities, press conferences, things you have to shoot for the NBA commercial-wise. Then your agents, because companies do this, it's part of All-Star weekend. It's part of keeping the machine going, is that you have all of these corporations descending, all these sponsors that descend on wherever that particular All-Star game is. And they all set up their own studios and stuff because you've got everybody there. So, hey, we've got Jason Tatum and Joel Embiid and Steph Curry all support our brand. Well, they're all at the All-Star game. We don't have to go through schedules and fly them to a specific place. They're already there. So we're going to shoot some commercials this weekend. So if you're a star, and you're literally a star if you're at the All-Star game, you've got your media avails. You've got your practices, your game itself. You have your other events if you're involved, whether it's three-point or skills or slam dunk. And then you have all this other business crap you have to take care of. Oh, and if you're in the union, you have a union meeting. Like, I'm just saying, again, we'd all switch places, but if you have a choice between all of that and, going to Cabo or something with your family for 3 days in the middle of the year, in the middle of winter, I think you're probably choosing that. So, yeah, got to figure it out. Number 2, please.
Question 2.
Number 2 pick, Alex Sarr went 0 of 15 with 0 points last night in Vegas. Is this concerning?
0 of 15, dude. That's crazy, especially as a big man. It's not that we're talking about a dude who's like 6'1" and relies on the jumper. This is a big man. Is it concerning? No, it's Summer League. Who cares? But I will say this. It's just a reminder that this year's draft is just almost certainly going to unveil some insane busts. And it might not be Alex Sarr. He might be a stud. But I'm telling you right now, somebody in that top 5 is going to be a straight-up bust. And not like that doesn't happen all the time, but this draft, which also should make the Devin Carter fans feel good because there's just as good an opportunity that this dude is a total stud. You're going to look back on this draft in 3, 4, 5 years, and it's going to be, it might be similar towards the top, but it is going to be all over the place with a redraft. I mean, all over the place. So when you see something like that with Sarr, I don't think it matters. I mean, I think he's averaging like 8.5 points, 8.5 boards, something like that through his first couple of games. But it just reminds you that, yeah, dude, number 2 pick could actually have a completely busted career. That is on the table. So is the number 1 pick as well. Number 3, please.
Question 3.
Patrick Beverley signed with an Israeli team for next season. After 12 years in the NBA, how will you remember his career?
Yeah, so this is a tough one because there were about a good 2-3 year set of seasons where I really wanted Patrick Beverley on this team. Really, really wanted Patrick Beverley. Knew he was one of those guys that, hey, if he's playing for you, you love him. And if he's not, you hate him. He's almost like a guard version of Draymond Green. Because he's a dog. He is scrappy. And he's also a little bit loopy out on the floor with his decision-making when it comes to, shoving Chris Paul in the back. Not that we all don't want to, but still. Throwing the ball at the fan. Wait a minute. I just thought of something. I mean, tactically, couldn't you say Patrick Beverley has been suspended for 82 games next season? I said, was this part of a conspiratorial deal with the NBA where they suspended him for, 5 games? But the agreement is, sorry, dude, you can't play here next year. I feel like I might have won the bet.
You think so?
We'll take it to people's court. See what the late Judge Wapner says. I would have liked him on our team at some point. That being said, never really won anything. I think in the end, Patrick Beverley's hustled and scrapped and attituded and mouthed, and I mean those are complimentary ways, by the way. His way to a pretty decent NBA career. He ain't a Hall of Famer. He ain't even in the Hall of Good. He's just one of those dudes that, 20 years from now, people be talking in bars, go, oh my God, remember Patrick Beverley? That guy was insert term. Could be a stud, heart and soul of the team. Hated him, D-bag. Well, ask Mark Jones about that, by the way.
Unfortunately, I kind of remember him as like the memes in his later career, like him on ESPN licking his lips.
Yeah.
And then the one you see like almost every day on Twitter, the Minnesota celebration in the play-in.
Yeah. Yeah. He, not Lance Stevenson level memery with him, but pretty close. By the way, is Lance even in the league still? He's not, is he? I don't think so. And if he's not in the league, you just kind of, He's kind of petered out quietly. Lance Stevenson is 33 years old. And yeah, no, he's been out of the NBA for a season and a half. Played for the Iowa Wolves, the Minnesota G League team last year. That's interesting. But, you know, he blew in LeBron James's ear once. So, yeah, that is honestly probably what Lance Stevenson is going to be remembered for, is blowing in LeBron James' ear on the court. What is Patrick Beverley's signature moment? Is it the celebration?
I think so.
I mean, we all know he shoved Chris Paul, but that hasn't really been. I don't know. I do like his podcast, so and again, I don't listen to podcasts. I listen to podcasts via anytime they do something great, it shows up on social media, and I listen to the clip. But I like his podcast a little bit like I like Draymond Green's podcast. I do enjoy it when players have a certain persona and character on the floor, and then they're off the floor talking about the game itself, and you get a little bit of an insight, and more often than not, the person is a little bit different than you thought they might be. Whereas a guy like Gilbert Arenas, his podcast is exactly what you thought it would be. We'll take a break. When we come back, hey, we'll ask Mark Jones about Patrick Beverley, along with the sights and sounds of Las Vegas, the Sacramento Kings offseason moves, and more. It's the voice of your Sacramento Kings. Mark Jones joining us next.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys, live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus, view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DQ presents Picture This. Picture the DQ freezer, home to all the Blizzard flavors of the past. Picture it opening to bring back the salted caramel truffle blizzard for a limited time. Picture that salted caramel truffle blizzard in your hands. It's all yours. No, really, it's all yours. This treat is too good to share. Everyone will have to get one for themselves. Hurry in to get this flavor before the DQ freezer closes. DQ. Happy tastes good.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton & Price in your corner. When you call Ashton & Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
If you're not looking for a brand new car, at Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. We've kept only the best of our trades, and our buyer has found some of the finest pre-owned Hondas available in Northern California. You can see for yourself at elkgrovehonda.com. Whether you purchase a brand new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, your car buying experience will be the same. We have the right Honda at the right price. You'll find us in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda. Go for the gold May 1st through July 27th during Sky River Casino's $1 million Road to Glory giveaway. Play daily for a chance to win free play, cash, or your choice of a Lincoln Nautilus, GMC Sierra, or Ford Mustang GT every Saturday. Get 100 bonus entries by earning 100 tier credits every Monday and Tuesday. Plus, 1 free daily entry at our promotional kiosks. Victory could be yours during the $1 million Road to Glory giveaway at Sky River Casino. Visit skyriver.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app. Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
All right. Appreciate you being back with us. Jason Ross will be back with us next Wednesday. Just in time for me to say bye-bye to pull off my National Lampoon's European vacation with the family. Wish me luck, pray. Joining us right now in the city that hosted the Copa America final last weekend. He is back amongst the sun, the sand, and the palm trees. And he deserves to be one of the hardest working men in show business. Our good friend, the voice of the Sacramento Kings, Mark Jones. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Dave. Man, I hope it goes better for the World Cup when they have one of the venues here. You know, you mentioned the Copa. I'm like, yeah. I've seen some wild stuff in South Florida through my 30-odd years here, but that was up there. That was top 20.
Top 20.
At least top 30, yeah.
I got to ask you.
That's the amount of wild stuff, yeah.
I don't want to tell tales out of school with our off-air communication, but I just, you'll know where I'm going here. Mark, do you sleep ever?
Man, I tell you what, a little CBD at night to put me back on schedule is always a good thing. It takes care of the inflammation in the joints, in my knees, and in my lower back, which has 4 screws in it. So therapeutically, it works for me, and that's what I use, because I looked at my Apple Watch data, and I actually did okay. I got like 7 hours. I averaged 7 hours of sleep last week. I don't know how it's summer league. I really don't know how. I'm not sure if the data is accurate, but sleeping is a challenge.
I was going to say,
it definitely is.
Just some of the times where you'll commute, you and I'll text, and then I'll get a text back from you at a random time. And I always think, God dang, Mark, like hit a pillow or something.
I'm coming from Denny's getting the number 2 combo special and going home, right? To sleep.
You got to experience summer league as you have for many, many years. It is hot. It is Vegas. It is summertime, but it really has kind of turned into a bit of a basketball mecca. I think it was you that I was talking with not that long ago, that underneath the baskets on the sideline is maybe the most powerful group of basketball influencers. One might you just take a walk and there's Daryl Morey. The late Jerry West would always be around. You see Larry Bird and some other executive having a conversation, and if you just sit with your foot on the wall and watch the basketball and keep your ears open, you never know what you're going to hear working that club.
Yeah, it's for me, it's like Christmas in July. I've been to pretty much all 20 in Las Vegas, and the real essence of it for me is to be able to, like you mentioned, run into some of the league executives, the team front offices, general managers, coaches, players. I like to, work the hotel lobby at the Wynn and at, some of the other hotels to meet people and just have great conversations and get caught up with folks. And, this year's a little different because Jerry West isn't there. And every time I walked by that baseline seat that he always occupied, he was sitting there. I think it's the 5th chair in with a big cup of Dairy Queen, a milkshake that he always had. But no, it's fun, man. It's fun. I went to a fantastic event a few nights ago with a group of coaches, and Mike was there. With some of the people that he'd mentored through the years. It was fun. It was really fun. It's a great time, and the games have been exciting. To see the top picks do their thing, and just the stories, man. I think about Duncan Robinson coming there what was it, like maybe 5-6 years ago, and lighting it up, and became ultimately the highest paid non-drafted player in the NBA.
Well, you got we were just talking about, who was it yesterday? Mike James. You remember Mike James? I go to Summer League. God, he lit it up. Not that he didn't have an NBA career. Of course he did. But Mike James, you got these Summer League legends, man, that always stand out that you don't really see unless you're down there experiencing it. Yeah.
I did a game Golden State, and I forget who it was, Golden State in Portland the other night. And Marquise Plowden for the Warriors, he had one really fantastic game. And I was telling Doris during one of the commercial breaks, this guy's going to get shut down tomorrow. You watch. He won't show up for the game. We'll see him sitting in the stands wondering what's up, only to find out that he signed a contract with somebody. It happens that quickly. I remember it happened that way with Terrence Davis, who did a little time with us in Sacramento. Had one good game for the Denver Nuggets, and then boom, signed a deal in the middle of the night with the Toronto Raptors. And, went on to have a career. There's a bunch of other stories like that that are a lot of fun. And it's nice to see the genesis of it unfold right in front of you. There's nothing like it.
So Mark Jones, voice of the Kings, joining us. We haven't talked on the air since the end of last season, and really would love to get your thoughts. DeMar DeRozan, a Compton kid, but also a Toronto kid at one point. And I know there's that Canada connection, plus you've called plenty of his games. So when you heard that he's going to slide in, you would assume at the 2, perhaps the 3, and the Kings grabbed him, arguably the greatest free agent they've ever signed, certainly the best that they've signed since Vlade Divac. What were your thoughts on that?
Man, just that it's going to be a great fit. He's a 25, 24 point per game scorer. I think that his ability to handle and be a playmaker, averaging almost, between 5 and 6 assists a game, is really going to help our offense and supercharge that even more. And for me, there's 2 things that really capture the essence of him. 3, actually. He's a fantastic teammate. Nobody around I've been covering this league for 34 years. I'm in the locker rooms. I'm in the summertime gyms watching these guys work out. Nobody has ever said a bad, foul word about DeMar DeRozan as a teammate. 2, Dave, he doesn't miss games.
Yeah.
The guy's played 90-something% of the games in his career. And in this day and age, that kind of availability can be rare. And then 3, anytime you have a guy at the end of the shot clock that can go get his own, it's priceless, especially in the mid-range, because that's where the secret sauce is in the postseason. A lot of times you're not going to be able to get to the rim. A lot of times people are going to take away the 3-point shot, but he's a guy that has been really a mid-range maestro through the years. And, when it comes to the last 5 minutes of the ball game, now we have both he and Fox that can go get their own buckets, because they were, over the last couple of years, both in the top 5 in fourth quarter scoring. So, all that added up, I think works for Sacramento, works for us. And defensively, it's going to take some tweaks, because if you think about it, Harrison Barnes was wonderful. He was a lot of those things too, but, he defensively guarded a lot of force at the other end. He was guarding LeBron. He was guarding Karl Anthony Towns. He took a lot of tough assignments. So it doesn't make us positionally longer or bigger, but man, if you add up the whole package, it's a plus with DeMar DeRozan. He's got tremendous experience in the postseason too.
Mark Jones with us. It's funny you mentioned Harrison Barnes, because anyone who ever has been around Harrison Barnes, it's a similar thing. And I was actually looking at the similarities with my head tilted a little between DeMar and Harrison Barnes, in the sense that you've never heard a bad word out of either of them. They're both leaders, but in a completely kind of different way. They're both locker room guys. And then, Harrison, and there were some limitations obviously last year with him, and we all understand that, but even on the offensive end was so often the guy that would plug the drain. The other team's on an 18-4 run, and Harrison draws a foul and slows it down. And it feels like in some aspects, DeMar is is also strong in those same categories Barnes was, just a little bit stronger across the board, of course, with the exception of defense, like you said.
Right. He, the other thing is, too, I didn't mention is DeMar DeRozan gets to the free throw line quite a bit. And, Hubie Brown always taught me through the years that, if you can get to the line 6 or 7 times a game, 8 times a game, you're doing great things for your team because now you score and you get to set your defense. And, our defense took an exponential leap last year, and that'll help it even that much more incrementally to improve. Might even get, might be top 12 next year, top 10. Who knows?
So the other free agent sort of was Malik Monk. And, a lot of times people look at retaining free agents and say, okay, well, that, including me, say, well, that's not the same as DeRozan, who could have gone anywhere. I feel like in Malik's case, though, it's almost double because not only could he have gone anywhere, but he could have made more money at a number of different places because of this apron and the whole cap situation. So the Kings were actually technically at a disadvantage financially in trying to re-sign him, and he still doesn't go for the 1-year opt-out deal for the full bird rights, doesn't go with a 2-year mini contract. He goes for the full $478 and really, in effect, kind of took a discount to stay here. So from a culture standpoint, Mark, and you've been around the league forever, you know all about Kings and Sacramento culture and historically lack thereof. It certainly seems like those two spots, DeRozan and Monk, both have really sent a signal to the NBA that there's something going on here.
Yeah, I think that really says that Sacramento's more of a destination, perhaps, for players who are free agents than people might perceive it to be. And I think Mike Brown continues to, alchemize the culture, and that's part of it. Now that, Monty can go out there in the future and say, hey, look, DeMar DeRozan decided to come here. Hey, look, Malik Monk decided to stay. I think that there are times where, Sacramento doesn't appear to be that, but, winning, I think, fixes some of that. And, I know that Malik could have gotten more money elsewhere. And here's the thing in free agency, too, with him is, you have to get your fit, and it's a great fit in Sacramento for him. And there's a lot of times where, front offices around the league will acquire a player in a trade or free agency. The front office may like the guy, but the coach may not vibe with the guy. I think that the way that Mike Brown and Malik have, established a very unique relationship, and, whether Malik starts, whether he comes off the bench, Malik is going to get his minutes, and Mike really believes in him. And I think that more than anything was a big part of it. The second component of Malik coming back, I know, was Jay Triano. I can remember Malik telling me at one point.
Sorry, I'm into the dog now, Mark.
Malik's got a lot of dog in him. My Doberman started barking when I said Malik's name. That's one of our commands. That's one of our get him, Ross said. Yeah, Malik. Malik means king, Ross. No, yeah. He's all excited now. Down.
That's great.
Good boy, yeah, on cue. You think we planned that, But Malik told me, had it not been for Jay Triano, who's still on my staff, by the way, had it not been for Jay Triano, I would have lost my mind in Charlotte, and I would have never made it that far. So when Malik looks down the bench, no matter how dark times may be, and it's worth the incremental financial sacrifice, no matter how dark it may be, he knows he's got two guys that are 10 toes down with him that are going to ride with him forever in terms of Jay Triano and Mike Brown. And that's worth a lot of money too,
Last thing for you, Mark Jones, voice of the Kings. People are asking in the on the text line. We always get these questions, and maybe it's too early to ask you. I know we'll talk to you before the season starts, but how's your schedule looking like this year? How much of Mark Jones are we going to see? And as usual, I always think of you as like the announcer version of a big ham steak surrounded by dogs being pulled everywhere. How's your year looking?
It's shaping up right now. I'll have a better idea in the next couple of weeks, but my ambition is to do as many as I can, like 50,
Okay.
Like, like it was in years 1, 2, and 3, to get back to that number. Pretty much most of the games. We had, I think, 67 that were televised last year when you take out all the TNT and ABC games, national ones. So yeah, that's my ambition, is to do that. And, I think it's looking pretty good. I'm going to try and do that.
Mark, are we going into year 4 or 5 for you with
Unbelievable. Year 5 already.
Wow.
Dave. Yeah, man. Yeah.
That just hit me.
I know. It was great being up in Sacramento for the California Classic, man. I got to hit all my spots. I got to hit, Medici. I got to hit all my foodie spots. Alora. What else? My smoothie bowl place down in Midtown, Crepeville. Yeah, when I get in town, man, I got to triple up on the workouts. Because that's another thing I like to. I get in a lot of fights about Sacramento. I'm ready to hit some people in the face, throw some hands, because when I hear that, Sacramento doesn't have this, Sacramento doesn't have that, I'm like, come on, man. You haven't been hanging out in the right spots, because I can show you, and I just got there 4 years ago, and I found them. There are a couple deserts out there in the NBA.
Sure.
Sacramento's not one of them. Trust me on that. In terms of flavor and places you can go, food, culture, diversity, wine country. Come on, man.
Oh, speaking of, I know you and I are always talking about things to do together. I was thinking about this the other day. I'll say it on the air. If you have time before, Mark, have you been out to the Corbell Winery out in Guerneville yet? Have you taken that tour? Okay.
No,
I was thinking about you. We were out there a couple weeks ago, because I know we've talked about this. Got to get you out there.
I'd love to.
It is the most insane thing ever. The tour is great. You know me, I'm not a huge drinker, but in that case, there's nothing like a little champagne. And they've got we picked up a bottle of this Merlot base. It's red. It's a red champagne that is, it's fan-freaking-tastic. They have a Riesling, a Merlot version called the Rouge. So I was thinking I'd run that by you off the air, but I'm doing it on the air now. We got to try to fit that in.
I'm all about the wineries, man. And wifey and I went down to a spot near Napa. And, did the wine tasting and did the spa treatment too. Did one of those black lava exfoliations.
Yep.
It was, hey, man, I'm a little bougie, Dave. I can do that,
That's fine. You know your way. You know your way around the fashion world. You got to keep the skin nice and neat. I got you. You're a TV guy.
I had the cucumbers on my eyelids,
right?
Man. That worked for me.
That's the difference.
Because all these late nights,
yeah. The TV guy is getting the lava rock treatment, and the radio guy over here's face looks like a lava rock. So that's the difference, everybody, between radio guy and TV guy. Mark's pretty, and I'm the guy that stands behind him. So appreciate you. Have fun out in Miami. You deserve the time off, and before you know it, you'll be in preseason mode, and then it's off to the races for you. We can't wait to see you back out here.
Can't wait to be back in town and have the season start up. It's going to be a great year, Dave. Keep up the fantastic work.
Thank you, brother. I'll talk to you soon, Mark.
You got it.
See you. Bye. Mark Jones, voice of the Sacramento Kings. And it is going to be a fun year. By the way, I always get these texts too. Let me be clear. And I probably shouldn't acknowledge the one person, but this isn't the first time that happens. I love Mark Jones. I think Mark Jones does a great job, all that stuff. That doesn't mean I don't like Kyle. I love them both. It's okay. And I love Katie, and I love G-Man. So if I had Kyle on, I'd call him the voice of the Kings, and I'd ask him about his schedule and all that stuff, because I love Kyle. I love the work he does. I have Mark on. I'm going to ask him the same thing. He can what are we picking teams? We picking sides? Broadcast crew is awesome. I mean, Katie's okay, but the broadcast crew as a whole is awesome. We'll take a break. When we come back, we've got a broken hand in the NBA from a big-time all-star, and an update on Jonte Porter and the betting scandal, and Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, who has been booted from the league. And dare I say, I might be Team Jonte on this latest thing. I'll explain. I'm still working it out in my head. I'll explain as we are at 7:48. Want to remind you, Cam Inman joining us after that segment at 8. So just 10 minutes, because we ran long with Mark. Brendan Nunes at 9 as we drive towards 10 o'clock. and celebrity birthdays and crosstalk. And you may choose to drive a brand new Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram right there in Woodland for the Make This the Summer sales event, lowering prices on those hard to find Ram heavy duties right now. Save up to $12,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 2500 Laramie or Tradesman's. If you need a heavy-duty Ram truck, Hoblet should be your first stop to finding what you need at the best price. From the first day, when Chad Hoblet's grandpa opened the first Hoblet dealership in 1949, the one thing they've strived for is to treat you like family. I can attest to this. Got both my vehicles, mine and my wife's, from Hoblet. That's why you're going to find that big city selection and savings. With over 400 Rams available, with a small town care and attention whenever you buy from Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is there. Also, I'll answer another question. Both my wife and I bought from Hoblet, hand to God. No special DJ sponsorship discount, by the way. I know that trick happens a lot. Oh, I got my stuff at this thing that I'm endorsing. Yeah, no, I paid what you guys got the loan from the place and did the thing and made the down. I did the same thing you would do. Same treatment, same prices, same thing. Just phenomenal service and no hidden fees. That's why I'm always going to buy my vehicles from Hoblet for the rest of my life. You won't find a bigger selection or better deals on the truck you want. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period. We'll take a break. When we come back, some NBA news, including me possibly taking up for Jonte Porter. We'll get to that next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Catch some Aggie football this fall and save money while doing it. Grab one of our all-new mini plans and save up to 40% off single-game tickets. With our can't-miss home slate of games this season, you can pick 82 games for just $60 or any 3 games for $75. Pick the games that fit your schedule and come support the Aggies on their quest for a Big Sky championship. Mini plans can be purchased by calling the ticket office at 530-752-2471 or online at ucdavisaggies.com/tickets. Go Axe!
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to Staples, young man.
Tomorrow's my big day.
Big day?
First grade.
Aw, well, Staples has crayons, markers, glue.
I need a laptop.
Oh, yeah, sure. With Staples Hot Deals, you can save up to $300 on select PCs for school.
Wait. The finances are Mom's department.
Right.
I'm looking for performance, like a Core i7 processor.
Boy, first grade has really changed.
Tell me about it.
Save big on tech for school with super low Staples Hot Deals. Right now, get up to $300 off select PCs at Staples. Ends 8/24.
From the Ozempic Studios, broadcasting from the top of the Bass Pro Shops pyramid. Your home for Leonard Farthammer in the morning, Chudley Barfback with the Workday Double Play, and Robert Bobbert Jr. on the drive home. Nobody plays Man in the Box by Alice in Chains more than the Warhog. WHOG. Crank it up.
Have you ever sat on top of your balls?
Basket, of course. Welcome back. I love radio rejoin parodies. Everybody has that one radio station they listen to. with way too much production. The Warthog. Yeah, well, that's going in the rotation. Thank you to whoever put that together on Twitter. Kyrie Irving has broken his hand. He is expected to be back in time for the regular season. The fact of the matter is, this happened reportedly earlier this month, and while he was working out. So that's some pretty important news for Dallas. But again, if they're able to get him back and healthy, that would be great. Power rankings are out as well, preseason power rankings, if you will. And this one got it right. Unlike was it Monty Pools in the Bay Area about a week ago, who had the Warriors a spot ahead of the Kings. In no world should the Warriors be a spot ahead of the Kings. I'm not saying they won't surprise and finish ahead of them, but they didn't last year, and there's nothing pointing to the fact that they would this year. The Sacramento Kings are, I guess you could say, truly the definition of an average team in the NBA, because they are ranked 15th out of 30. According to ESPN, they are ranked 15th behind the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, the Suns, the Magic, the Cavs, the Pacers at number 9. That might be high. The Bucks, the Nuggets, the Mavs, the Knicks, the Timberwolves, the Thunder, and the Celtics. And I did the counting for you. That would put the Kings as an 8 seed in the Western Conference. I'll be honest with you. The fact that the Knicks are number 4, I'm going to take exception with that. I think they're the number 2 team in basketball right now on paper, behind the Boston Celtics. So we'll get to Jonte Porter a little bit later, because I want to get to Cam Inman and my thoughts on Jonte Porter a little bit more than just 30 seconds, which is what we have about left in the break. We're going to talk to Brendan Nunes from Vegas at 9 a.m. We'll give you your text to win secret code also at 9 a.m. for your Quick Quack 30-day car wash membership and more. Cam Inman on the Brandon Aiyuk trade request coming up next.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Welcome to your Wednesday. Out the door, you feel that Delta breeze, and it'll keep temperatures nice and cool through the morning hours. For the afternoon, expect to have plenty of sunshine, a lighter southwest wind, highs today in the mid-90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you're in the market for a new car, shop Folsom Lake Kia. Low interest rates, low payments, and zero down deals with approval of credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Ah, the sweet feelings of summer. The kiss of warm sun on your skin. The softly scented breeze blowing through the trees. Don't worry, you have Off Clean Feel, fragrance-free mosquito repellent that feels good on skin, so even mosquitoes can't ruin those sweet feelings of summer. Off Clean Feel, Prevention is the best protection from mosquitoes.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Summers are for Sacramento Rivercats baseball. Your Rivercats are home this weekend, which includes the fan favorite Star Wars night on Saturday, July 20th. Bid on limited edition Star Wars jerseys and meet your favorite characters throughout the game. Elevate your experience with the VIP home plate tailgate while tickets last, and stick around postgame for a Star Wars-themed fireworks spectacular. For more details and to purchase tickets, visit rivercats.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper. As the proud sponsor of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew, Alsco Uniforms offers certified hygienically clean lab coats, scrubs, bed linens, towels, floor mats, and an array of mops tailored for your healthcare facility. Our services include convenient delivery to your doorstep. Leading the way in healthcare laundry services in Northern California, discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Go to alsco.com to learn more. Again, that's alsco.com.
Summer is finally here, and so are all the best deals on DeWalt Power Tools at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. Drills, impacts, circular saws, you name it, we have it for the best price in town, guaranteed. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned tradesman, we've got all the DeWalt products you need to crush your next project. So come on down to Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet today on Power and Road for better tools and better prices. For more info, visit fastenersinc.net.
Imagine the most beautiful panoramic setting. Endless waves crashing on a beach, kids playing in the park. Now, right smack in the middle of your perfect picture, imagine just one piece of litter. It doesn't fit, does it? And it simply doesn't belong anywhere. Certainly not in California. Not even one piece. Good news? If we work together, we will change it all. Clean California. Zero litter is the goal. CleanCA.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis. A two-hand rip. A brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
Well, we were talking earlier about certainties in life. When He-Man raises his sword, it says, by the power of Grayskull, Skeletor's in trouble. When in wrestling, the guy getting beaten gets thrown against the ropes, he's going to start beating the other guy. When we finish the program, news will break. That's just always what happens. So we get off the air at 10 a.m. yesterday, and I walk out of the room for a second. I come back in. Styles and Watkins getting ready for their show, and everyone's abuzz because Brandon Aiyuk has requested a trade. So we scrambled today and wanted to find somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about, unlike us, who covers the Niners and who can give us a little bit of a bottom line on this. Cam Inman writes for the Bay Area News Group, which is a phenomenal acronym. Also, you want to know if he knows what he's talking about. First off, he's our guy, Greg Papa's friend. So he goes on that show, which is huge. Secondly, he's got a book coming out on the Niners, the franchise, the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this is officially out September 24th, but as I was telling you yesterday, as I went crazy on Prime Day, you can go on Amazon right now for Prime Day and grab yourself an advanced copy. Do it right now while supplies last. Cam Inman, it's Carmichael Dave. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, good. Good morning. Thanks for having me. That was a good pitch. I like it.
You like that? Yeah, it bordered on too long of an intro.
No, that was great. Perfect. Well, you nailed it.
I wanted to cover everything. And when we'll get to Brandon here in 2 seconds. I am curious. I'm a lifelong 49er fan. We just happen to cover and run them out here on the station. And when you're tackling something, it's not the 49ers the early years. It's not the 49ers the next generation. It's the 49. It's the franchise. When you're tackling a behemoth like that, where the hell do you? Is it chronological? Where do you even start on your little storyboard to begin the whole process?
Well, you should know if you're a Niner fan, it starts with the quarterbacks, right? So you go.
Yes.
All right, well, I got to get the quarterbacks taken care of. I got to get the legends like Ronnie Lott and Bill Walsh and Eddie D in there, Jerry Rice. And then you move on to Super Bowls, best draft picks, trades, free agency. I guess it's my way of taking readers down a path of what I've kind of learned about the franchise, kind of going into my 25th year covering them. So there's a lot of stuff from one-on-one interviews with all those guys I just mentioned, including Joe and Steve and all the quarterbacks. But one of the neatest aspects of it, besides kind of going back and going through time, was I got two really good guys to do the forwards. And it's the best running.
Yes.
I got the best running back in 49ers history. I got Frank Gore to do one forward, and I got the best tight end in 49ers history and George Kittle to do the other. And so both of those guys wrote really heartfelt words about what the 49er franchise means to them. So, I mean, that alone is pretty cool. And then it was just a fun project. It was, I get pitched books every once in a while, and this was one where I could kind of put a personal touch on it. So like you said, I never saw Leo Nomalini play or Brody, but they're in there so you know a little bit about them, of what I've learned about it. But mostly it's kind of the modern, Super Bowl dynasty eras forward.
So here's the thing, though. You're doing all this. That, of course, means, I hope,
that
since your book's coming out September 24th or around there, that this will be the year the Niners end the drought and win their Super Bowl. So now does that open us up, much like a phenomenal movie that does great at the box office, does that open us up, Cam, for perhaps future addendums, sequels, things like that to augment the franchise's history post-book release?
That means every single person on that franchise is worth writing a book about, right? So you're going to have Kyle Shanahan getting over the hump finally. You're going to have Brock Purdy,
that's right,
the Mr. Irrelevant story, the true definitive book on Brock Purdy. You're going to have there's so many superstars on this team. And that's why if you want to segue to Brandon Aiyuk, but it's just like it's not – the offseason has been Brandon Aiyuk-centric, but there's so many stars still on this team. That's why they're a Super Bowl contender again.
Cam, my first instinct here was this is just the John Lynch dynamic. We saw it with Bosa last year. We saw it with Debo. We've seen a number of times. You get the holdout, the pseudo trade request. I remember this time last year, all of Niner fans were just gripping over Bosa and what would happen there, and then eventually it gets wrapped up and everybody loves each other and hugs. Is it a little presumptuous to try to go down that road with Lynch? Is this different at all to you?
I think this is just it's different in that Brandon Aiyuk's shown more impatience than the other guys have. I mean, Debo requested a trade 2 years ago back at draft time, right? Aiyuk's waited until a week before training camp to get his out there because he's exhausted every other avenue. I mean, he did I'm unfollowing the team. I'm going to troll the fans by wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates hat, or I'm going to tweet Mike Tomlin. I'm going to show you with Jaden Daniels, the Washington quarterback, to indicate I want to go there. But then, I mean, when it comes down to it, the 49ers are going to be his team in 2024. And where it goes from there, I'm not sure. But, he's requested this trade, what was it, July 16th, right? None of the Niners extensions for their homegrown stars each summer have come before this time. It's usually closer to camp. Fred Warner got his later in July. Kittle got his mid-August. Debo got his early August report. He went to training camp, was a hold-in for a few days. Bosa was different because he missed training camp last year, and everybody knew Nick Bosa is a maniac and will train well on his own. And he also signed the biggest contract in NFL history for a non-quarterback. Brandon Aiyuk is not Nick Bosa. So I wouldn't panic about this until maybe a week into camp to really kind of see if the feelings are as cold as they seem to be out of Brandon's had this like really skeptical view of negotiations ever since the offseason began, when he was at his locker and kind of gripping a football and looking sad. Whereas everybody that's been around the Niners, including their hierarchy or reporters, everybody expects a deal to get done, later in the summer like the others. And if it doesn't happen, it's too bad, because Brandon Aiyuk obviously is a number one target for Brock Purdy. He's been a back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver. He's earned a payday. Do the Niners have to pay it? They don't have to, because he's under contract for this year still.
So, in looking from that point you mentioned, in fact, we played it was about 60 seconds of sound from that locker room visit, if you will, and to hear the disappointment in Aiyuk's voice. And then since then, they used their first round pick on a receiver. And then again, I'm reaching here, but I can't imagine it's a total coincidence that the receiver show, we were talking about this earlier, is on Netflix last week and is running now. And you see the way Deebo Samuel is just absolutely fawned over, and rightfully so by the franchise. You couple that, Cam, with Davante Adams, and with no offense to the Raiders, I look at Davante and I see some similarities to Randy Moss's tenure there as well. You've got a receiver that left one place he was comfortable. He wanted to get paid. He wanted to play with his college roommate. And now, in that show, he is openly just trashing Jimmy Garoppolo and the whole situation there. And I wonder if Brandon is looking at that, and if he's thinking at all, be careful what you wish for, because I want the money, but at the same time, it's tough to beat Kyle Shanahan's offense.
It is tough. And it's rare that the Niners would trade away an asset like that, right? And so I think we're past the point of a trade until, next offseason, because whatever the Niners get for him, it can't be a draft pick for this year. It's not going to help them for this season. If it's a player-to-player trade, it would have to be a blockbuster. And the reason those don't happen is because of the salary cap ramifications. Guys have been given huge signing bonus, and so teams don't want to take that hit. Could it happen? I just think it's very, very, very rare case that would happen. I don't think that they're trading Brandon Aiyuk. Now, DeForest Buckner was the big trade that rattled the franchise, about 4 years ago?
Yeah.
And he wanted market-setting money because he was this all-pro defensive tackle that was coming into his own and coming into his prime. And they did not want to pay him Aaron Donald-type money, but the Indianapolis Colts did. And so Buck went. He was very well-liked. They let him go for a first-round draft pick. He went to Indy, got his money, but he hasn't won anything. Like you said, what's the trade-off? I think a lot of these guys, it depends where you are in your life, right? And what's your financial situation. They've had a lot of guys on their team right now that have been paid. And so right now, these guys want to win right now with the 49ers. Brandon Aiyuk has not been – he's been paid as a first-round draft pick, but he's going to get a big-time raise at some point over the next year.
I'm not going to put you on the spot, because that would take a whole different segment to ask for specific names. But when you do talk about the possibility of a trade, as small as it may be, in your opinion, looking at this roster, if they could find like for like, I'm saying talent and I'm saying salary, can this team afford to lose a talent like Brandon Aiyuk this year by, let me back up, Cam. Could it better serve the Niners in this made-up scenario to substitute a talent like Brandon Aiyuk for a like talent, perhaps in the secondary, perhaps, you name it, just from a pure winning standpoint? Is there a scenario you see where you're like, well, if you get this guy for Brandon and you plug him in on this place on the defense, they might actually be a better team, considering they've got Pearsall and the rest of that receiving core? Is that a scenario in your head at all?
I think it's a fair question to entertain, because that's where you say, do they have could they use another defensive end? I mean, it would be great if they brought Joey Bosa in to pair with Nick Bosa, but that's not going to happen, because the Chargers just reworked Bosa's contract. So there's your financial ramifications. Say Aiyuk wants to go to Washington to play with his Arizona State buddy, Jaden Daniels, who else went to LSU after. But anyhow, they're best friends. Well, Washington's got a couple wide receivers there. Would they part with Terry McLaurin? I mean, it's like, then you just kind of it's like, how fast would he learn the offense?
Yeah.
Does this really make sense? Because Aiyuk's a younger wide receiver. There's about 5 other wide receivers around the NFL that are still looking to get paid, like a CeeDee Lamb, Cortland Sutton, Amari Cooper, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. With those teams, like I don't see how an even swap of those guys would work out, because if the Niners trade for one, they're going to have to pay those guys a bunch of money, and they're all going to want about the same money that Aiyuk's looking for, right? So it just doesn't make much sense for them to swap that out. And the other thing is, I think Ricky Pearsall could be a really good wide receiver. He's a first-round draft pick. He looked good in spring camp. But again, it's spring camp. There's no press coverage. There's no really schemes going on. So I kind of reserve judgment on Ricky. And it's just really hard for a rookie wide receiver to make an impact immediately in an NFL offense, especially one as complex as Shanahan's. So I think you want to keep that unit intact. It is intact. It's going to be a very highly productive offense. And just make that run at the Super Bowl this year, no matter what, and readdress it next year if he doesn't come to a contract in the next 2 months.
And that question I asked, and I appreciated, you had a wonderful piece in the Mercury about this, and that list of receivers you mentioned is actually what put that in my head. Hey, maybe not for a receiver, but is there another place to substitute? If you have not read Cam Inman's piece on this, you can catch it off his Twitter or hit Google. It will catch you up on the whole thing. Last thing for you, and I appreciate your time. I'd love to get just a general quick take with Brock Purdy, since we haven't talked about this before. Going into this season, the year before last, the crash out against the Eagles when he was hurt, then the revenge this year in Philadelphia, and getting, falling once again just short, as close as you can get to winning without winning because it was overtime.
Right.
Cam, you mentioned earlier you've covered this team for the better part of 3 decades. You've covered football. I'm right around there when it comes to football coverage. I don't remember ever seeing a story treated as weird as the story of Brock Purdy, who, even if you're not a Niner fan, I'm not expecting you to put him on your shoulders, but you're talking about Mr. Irrelevant stepping in and having about as good a start to a career as you can without winning championships. This is a Disney movie. It's one of those great American sports stories. Yet it seems, though half acknowledge that, the other half just are falling all over each other to discredit the man. And I've never seen anything like that. The close comparison, I don't really want to make this parallel comparison, but, a guy that comes out of nowhere and kind of rocks the NFL world where they're not suspecting him to do stuff as a quarterback of the 49ers, right? And it's been, like you said, it's been an amazing story. Purdy has amazing self-awareness of, like, I'm surrounded by stars, but I also know I have to do my job, and he does it incredibly well. He's got this hidden moxie that only fans see, where he really gets pumped up, and he processes everything mentally so well. He's not the 6'4" gunslinger, so that's why people have doubts. But so go back 10 years ago, and there's Colin Kaepernick coming out, replacing Alex Smith, and he's this dual threat wonder kid that can run really fast and throw bullets, and next thing you know, he's in the Super Bowl. And next thing you know, he's going into his 4th year, and he's going to get a new contract. So, and a lot of people had doubts about Colin, and there were reasons to have those doubts. I'm talking football only. Brock Purdy doesn't have those doubts because he can make all these incredible throws, but he's also got this, he's a great leadership. He has the coach's trust more than any other quarterback has in the Shanahan era, because he has a great command of the offense, a great command of the defense. And he's a leader, very well liked throughout the locker room. And it's been an amazing transition to watch. Very humble kid. I've really enjoyed covering him. He's one of those kids, his first year and a half before he became a starter, he would sit at his locker. He would just quietly review plays. And if you went over to ask him something, there would be a really nice, cordial back and forth conversation where he'd ask you questions of what it's like to do your job and what's expected out of a 49er quarterback. And just like, look, Brock, I cover 2 things. I cover the team and I cover the quarterback. It's just how it is with the 49ers. Everybody wants to know what's going on with the 49er quarterback. So he knew exactly what he's stepping into, and he's fulfilled so many expectations and beyond them. But guess what? It's a new year, and he's coming off a record-setting season. The fact that he did it with a surgically repaired arm that's, I think, the story that was really lost last year. Is I don't think the nation understood what was going on with Brock Purdy. At this time last year, he was just starting to throw a football, and then he goes and throws the 49ers to a Super Bowl with 4,280 yards in 16 games. It was remarkable, amazing, and I think he could top it this year. So if you're a Niner fan listening to this, and we have a lot of Niner fans listening, what would you have them hang their hat on as the biggest reason or reasons to be optimistic about finally getting over the hump this season?
Besides the fact that I have a book coming out.
Which, by the way, can I add, September 24th or right around there, you can pre-order on Amazon Books as well, or Triumph Books. It is with a foreword from Frank Gore, the George Kittle in there as well. So as you said, the greatest running back and the greatest tight end of all time. 49ers, a curated history of the faithful. I'm looking at the cover right now. It's awesome. The whole franchise covered by our friend Cam Inman joining us.
All right. Now the reason for that optimism, like, to be honest, is you have the entire offense back intact, right? And you have Shanahan still calling these plays. You got Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. You got a really good defense with it. Again, another new defensive coordinator who knows the scheme well. But beyond that, look at the league. Okay, look at the NFC. Which NFC team is really going to come after them? I mean, I'm having a hard time buying into the Detroit Lions. I mean, I know they've made a great run last season. It's hard to sustain consistency in professional sports. The Niners have done it for about 6 years now. Can the Detroit Lions do it back to back with Jared Goff? There were some issues there at the end of last season where they cracked. Obviously, they blew a 24-7 halftime lead. I think the Packers are on the rise. You look at the NFC East, it's kind of a mess, as usual. Like, the Cowboys, always a disaster. The Eagles trying to climb out of that hole they dug last year. You look at the NFC South, not much there. I think the Atlanta Falcons might surprise a little bit. And then you just kind of, I know the NFC West, people think the LA Rams are on the come. The Seahawks have a new coach. Arizona Cardinals are a perpetual mess. So I think the Niners are positioned to get back to the Super Bowl relatively easily. And then it's, okay, will they meet Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs again? And no team has won the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. That's the Chiefs' mission. And I think the Niners are a better matchup this time around than last year for them. So I would love to see it again. But I think I predicted after the Super Bowl, like 2 days after this last Super Bowl, that the Niners would get back, that they would play the Los Angeles Chargers, coached by Jim Harbaugh, and they would be going for the Lombardi Trophy in New Orleans, which is where, of course, Harbaugh was coaching the Niners when they suffered their first Super Bowl loss. So the NFL is so cyclical, I figure that's a weird twist of life.
As somebody who also covers basketball and is a lifelong Niner fan, I just hope that 20 years from now, I'm not looking back like Sonics fans or Jazz fans are to those Michael Jordan Bulls and wondering what could have been if those Bulls hadn't existed, and hoping that the Chiefs are not the Bulls to the San Francisco 49ers. Here's to hoping. Cam Inman. Follow him at Cam Inman, INMAN. Very, very simple. And once again, happy to plug the book coming out officially September 24th. You can order on Amazon right now. The franchise, the San Francisco 49ers. I'm looking forward to rolling through that and really learning some things that even the biggest fans, I'm sure, had no idea, as you mentioned earlier, a deep dive if there ever was one. So I appreciate the time, Cam, and I hope we can bring you on here again soon as the season progresses.
I appreciate it, too. Have a great week. Thanks for having me.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. That's Cam Inman on the Brandon Aiyuk situation, and I thought he broke that down about as good as you possibly can, honestly. Because you just, there's a part in the back of my head that goes, don't just put this in the box. This could be a little bit different. They drafted Pearsall in the first round. He's sitting there watching the Netflix show and them fawning all over Deebo Samuel. There is a market for Brandon Aiyuk. Wide receiver money is going crazy. The Niners have all kinds of complicated cap math that they have to do. I mean, that team is on paper even beyond the Chiefs. I'm not saying they're better than the Chiefs. Of course they're not. The Chiefs beat them, but I'm saying on paper they're more stacked with stars than any other team. And by the way, they have this unique thing that really is damn near unprecedented, which is the most expensive position in the entire sport is getting paid literally like an Oakland Athletic this year or last year. and Brock Purdy. You want to talk about the best of best luck? This is allowing them this unique ability to gather. This is why they can do these huge contracts with Bosa and McCaffrey and Debo and Kittle and everyone they've brought in, even with Eric Armstead leaving, because they're not paying $30, $40 million a year, $50 million a year for the quarterback. And that is not going, that you want to talk about the window closing for the Niners. When I think about that, there is a window closing for the 49ers. I don't look at it as age like most do. That's not the window I'm worried about, because talent is transferable. The window is Brock Purdy's contract. Because once that kicks in, I mean, right now, if he was a free agent this summer, he's probably around $30 million. And if you're thinking, oh my God, $30 million from no freaking way. Look at the other quarterbacks making right around that. His market is plus or minus $3 million, around $30 million. And he got paid, what, $900,000 last year plus bonuses? That's the window, dude. We'll take a break. When we come back, Adam Silver has defended the new apron model. No, I'm not talking about stuff you do in the kitchen. And the story of Jonte Porter continues. It is sad, and I think I'm on his side for this one. I'll explain coming up right after this.
De'Aaron Fox plays here.
Stolen by Fox. Breakaway coming up for De'Aaron. And a simple, casual spike with the left hand. Kings lead by 3.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, The Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
18 number ones.
What was I thinking?
Countless ACM and CMA awards. Sold out world tours. And now, Dierks Bentley is coming to Sacramento for Country in the Park 2. September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Parmalee,
I love you just the way
Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Plus line dancing, food trucks, and more. Tickets available now at CITVFest.com.
Brought to you by McKee Brothers, Clemmy Reuter and Inc. and Dawson Oil Company.
If you've been on the American River, it's uphill, it's downhill. There's trails everywhere that you can walk, and it just makes you happy. And I couldn't walk, and it was terrible. I was turning into a real crab. I went to the Good Feet store and I tried on the arch supports. I could not believe that I was not in pain. I can walk, I can run, I can jump, I can do anything. My name's Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
The Good Feet Store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and vocal.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Thanks to Cam Inman. Interesting stuff on Brandon Aiyuk. And doesn't it feel good to talk a little football? Doesn't it? Doesn't feel good to talk football. Oh. And the older I get, the more I love football and the more I fall out of love with baseball. God, there's just been such, once upon a time, football was my third favorite sport behind baseball and basketball. It's just so weird how it changes.
I do like how the Netflix show has kind of given us a taste each offseason. We had quarterbacks.
Yep.
Now we've got receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Now
offensive
go
lineman.
back to quarterback. Oh, that would be, I don't love offensive linemen.
I joke, but I swear to God, an offensive lineman style, a receiver style show about offensive linemen who I think, like, offensive lineman might be the most underrated position in any relevant sport.
Yes.
Nobody cares about offensive linemen. And the work they do, they're almost like umpires and refs. Like, you don't hear about an offensive lineman until he gives up the sack that breaks the ankle.
You don't hear about an offensive lineman unless they are absolutely incredible or screwed up majorly.
You're absolutely right.
If you're a solid offensive lineman for 10 years.
No middle ground. No middle ground. Nobody has action shots, posters on their wall of, John Smith, offensive lineman blocking.
Think about it as an athlete, you've probably scored a goal or a basket or anything like that.
Right.
If you're an incredible offensive lineman, most likely that's been your position your entire life. Most likely haven't even touched a ball.
100%, unless you're snapping it.
Yeah.
And you see, you look at Jeff Saturday as one of the greatest offensive linemen of all time, and we're not even talking about the work they have to put in to be these big giant fatties, because you look at a guy like Jeff Saturday now, he looks like a normal dude, but when he played, he was like a sumo wrestler. It's insane what they, just being able to see the offensive linemen, what they're eating for breakfast every day. Seriously, a dozen eggs, a vat of mashed potatoes, all the stuff they do. And it's interesting. I had one more thought on offensive linemen.
Mike Golick Jr., I think it was last year or the year before, I want to say, went over in college what he had to do to make weight, which is get heavier, and all the food that he had to put down is that was a job, was eating. He would have practice and then just stuff as many calories in your system as possible.
Right. We were talking the other day about the last remote show we did, 2018. Ashley, I'll get to you on the phone in just a second. During that whole MLS thing, and Eric Armstead was backstage. He was backstage with us before the big rally with the mayor and everybody there. And so we did this video for the station. Some of you may remember, probably not. And the whole point was Eric's standing there. And look, I'm not offensive lineman size, but I'm 6'4", 200 pounds ish. My point is, I'm not an insignificantly sized individual. And so the whole point was, obviously playfully, but Eric's just going to stand there with his arms kind of crossed. And then all of a sudden I come into the screen running towards Eric, and I wrap my arms around him like I'm trying to tackle him. And obviously, I wasn't running full speed. I'm not really trying to tackle him and all that. But I was moving fast enough to where I expected to move him slightly. And when I say that it physically shocked and hurt me, I don't know. Have any of you ever, not full speed, if you're hanging out right now, just get up while the show's on, if you're at home or at work or something, and go find a wall, and then just lightly jog and try to tackle the wall. That's exactly what it felt like with Eric. I mean, we were screwing around and we made a funny video, but I walked away going, how do you block this person? How he's 6'7", I don't know how much pounds, most of it muscle, by the way. Eric may have a little bit of a boiler, but there's a lot of muscle behind the boiler. And I found myself just in awe anytime you ever have a brush with professionals, like watching a pro golfer hit a drive, watching getting early to a game and watching these shooters take practice at an NBA game and just hit three after three after three. It's always amazing to watch, but to physically feel the strength and weight and stability. And Eric just looked down at me. It's on the video. He just looks down at me and just like rolled his eyes like a mosquito, just flicked it off his arm. I will never for the rest of my life forget that. And it not only gave me a ton of respect for Eric, obviously, but really I walked away thinking, what the hell? How I don't know how Eric doesn't have 90 sacks a year. How do you possibly block an Eric Armstead? And by the way, there is a bunch of Eric Armsteads in the NFL. All right, I want to get to this Jontay Porter thing real quick. So if you need a refresh real quick, Jontay Porter, brother of Michael Porter Jr., was charged, convicted. He pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud in federal court July 10th for his role in a betting scandal involving prop bets on his stats 2 games into the past season. He was banned from the NBA. He could face 3.5 to 4 years in prison. Now, what I'm about to say is a very slippery slope, and I want to acknowledge in advance. There are political, socioeconomic, there's all kinds of issues that we could derail this conversation into, a more general conversation about punishments and checks and balances and weighting those I'm aware of that, and obviously I'm not trying to do a what about, an either or get into that. But this kind of bothered me because last night the judge refused to give him permission to play for Prometheus BC in the Greek Basketball League and the Champions League in Europe. The attorneys had asked the judge to return their client's passport and allow him to travel to Europe and reside in Greece with his wife and their new baby they're expecting. By the way, the U.S. Attorney's Office and the U.S. Pretrial Services Officer did not oppose it. The prosecution did not oppose it. The judge took it upon herself to say, no, you can't go. And I found myself thinking, look, dude, I get it. Like, betting and scamming is it's a bad thing. Okay. It shouldn't happen. And he should be charged and, pay a price and all that stuff. And I get that it shouldn't matter if he did it twice or did it 10 times. It shouldn't matter if it was a few $100 or a few thousand or a few million. It's the whole point, and that's just the world we live in now, where betting is betting and you got to protect it and whatever. That's a whole different conversation. You also have a guy who has a wife and a baby on the way, who has a very finite opportunity and window to play professional sports and make money. He has the opportunity to go to Greece and make a living for himself. Obviously, the team over there has seen it fit to allow him to play, and they're aware of what he's done and what he's going through. It just seems a little mean-spirited. Like, punish the guy. But he didn't murder anyone. He didn't molest anyone. He didn't defraud a bunch of homeless people or a charity or God knows, the 900 horrible things I could name that he could have done. He made a really stupid couple of decisions when it comes to betting and tried to make some quick cash, and he should be punished. But if you're in a situation where the prosecution is like, no, we're good. He's not a flight risk. When he gets punished, he's got to come back. He's got to come back. But we know who he is. We know where he's at. He's going to be playing on television. And then the judge steps in and is like, nah. Seems a little heavy-handed.
And it looked like the team was willing to work with everybody.
Yes. The team said
his
so.
Family is going to be there. It's not like he's going to, like, if he takes off, then it's just like
right,
incredibly insane.
He not only destroys everything else, including his family, his wife, his unborn baby, his family over there. His brother plays in the league. Not only that, but he also blows any chance he has at making a living doing that. By the way, nobody's betting on Jonte Porter anymore. I can promise you that. Give the guy a chance to make a living. Jesus. It just seems heavy-handed, and I hope that they look. I don't know Jonte Porter from Adam. I don't feel any sort of way towards him. It's just I read that article and it really stuck out in my head. Like, what are you doing, man? We'll take a break. When we come back, we've been trying to get to this the last couple of days, but boy, the content has been crazy. Brendan Nunez will join us at 9. We'll get to the Kings pool for the in-season tournament. Also, Adam Silver. Talking about the apron. And real quick, don't get mad at me, Chris. I promised Ashley. Ashley, we got to go to break, but what's going on? I wanted to get you in. Good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Brandon Aiyuk situation. And in regards to that, I've been thinking about it. I almost wonder if we need to, as a fan base of the Niners, to be a little bit more, like, kind of turn up the hot seat for Shanahan, because he doesn't, and Lynch, because they don't negotiate contracts once they first could. I mean, if we offered Brandon Aiyuk $26 million last year when we first could have extended him, I don't think that we're in a situation where he isn't signing, because the market was different at that point in time. And so I think that we wait way too long to extend our players. Another example is Hufanga. I believe we could extend him either like right now. And if we were to do it right now, we probably get a little bit of a discount because he's coming off that ACL. But if we wait till next year, he's going to be $15-20 million if he has a good season.
Where does that tie into Shanahan though?
Well, I guess not so much Shanahan, I guess more John Lynch, but
I would say this, Ashley. I'm not saying I'm like you're separately making some pretty valid points. I understand the financial situation, but here's my thing: like draft wise, acquisition of talent. It's tough to make a case against John Lynch when you look at the talent that this team has assembled under his stewardship. I feel like we're really splitting hairs there with this guy compared to all the good he's done.
I mean, definitely, I could see that. It's just, I feel like it's a little bit frustrating when you have such good talent and you can extend them for really affordable prices, but we wait to do so, and then we end up in situations like this where one of our better players is wanting to leave the team because we over $2 million, kind of like DeForest Buckner is what it kind of reminds me of.
Yeah, well, in the DeForest Buckner thing, we forgot about the other part of that, which was Javon Kinlaw, where Buckner left, and the idea was, okay, let's get a younger guy. We'll spend a draft pick on that. We're hopefully going to get similar production and far, far cheaper, which will allow us, it's a chess game when it comes to the cap and who you're going to pay and who you're not going to pay. And it is you can't do the whole legacy contract thing in the NFL if you want to win titles or at least compete. You can't do the whole reward for the loyalty. It is a brutal, brutal business. Now, on top of the fact that the most dangerous of the major sports also has the most jacked up contracts where you don't have the guarantees you have in other sports. In baseball or basketball, you sign a 10-year, $100 million deal, you're getting paid $100 million. And football, you can sign a 5-year, $600 million deal with $48 million guaranteed. And you know what that contract is? That contract's a 5-year, $48 million deal with a chance to make another $552 million, which you will never see. So I appreciate the guys like John Lynch, and not to get too nerdy on this whole thing, but I've mentioned it before as we go to break here. Parag Marathe has always been the wizard of the cap behind the scenes for the San Francisco 49ers. And Parag is now the chairman of Leeds United's soccer team over in England. He took that over last summer. And so it will be very interesting to see, even though this isn't stuff that's sexy to talk about, somebody's behind the scenes cap wizard. But it'll be very interesting to see over the next year, 2 or 3, if we start having major cap and contract issues and losing guys and the talent begins to sink unnaturally, if just how much, I'm always fascinated with guys like that, how much Parag Marathe actually meant on field. It's not just the linemen and the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. Sometimes it's the nerd, and I say that lovingly, behind the scenes that can have every bit as much of an impact, if not more, than some of those guys on the actual turf. We'll take a break. When we come back, Adam Silver in defense of the apron also talks expansion and the Kings pool for the in-season tournament. We'll get to that right after this.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And Logan Ryan picks him up. Looks like they're playing man. Laporta's over there as well. It's 5 out. It's empty on 4th down. Goff back. Not going to get out to his right. Being chased. Throws, and it is incomplete. The 49ers take over on 4th down again.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
I juggle a lot. And managing constipation with belly pain from my irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, with laxatives and fiber isn't enough. My doctor recommended a way to get ahead of it. Then I said yes to Linzess.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LANZESS.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
101 years ago, the owners of the Field & Flint Company gave its workforce the opportunity to name an exciting new shoe that was different from anything being manufactured then. The company would reward the person who came up with the best name a generous $50 reward. A factory seamstress suggested the name FootJoy, and the first FootJoy was launched with the tagline, "The shoe that's different." And that line today definitely describes the new FootJoy Tour Alpha golf shoe. The newly designed stabilizer, the most advanced FootJoy ever created, works to lock you in, allowing you to swing away with full force. And we all know that normally translates to more distance. Available in 3 color combinations, the FootJoy Tour Alpha offers performance leather, superior fit, complete support, and a 2-year waterproof guarantee. I suppose the only question left is, what do you think that seamstress did with her $50 prize? That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Whitey here, reminding you that not all gas grills are created equal. Bring out all the delicious flavors in your grilled meats with the amazing Napoleon Prestige and Prestige Pro line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro with features other grills cannot match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Made with premium stainless steel that boasts quality and a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. Napoleon grills and accessories are now available at your nearby Amy's, Ace Hardware in Sacramento, and now El Dorado.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot.
And what's not?
It's not good. Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
Who's hot?
Bruce Bochy.
Yeah.
With the American League's 5-3 win over the National League last night, Bruce Bochy became the first manager in Major League history to win an All-Star game for both the National and American League.
I saw Boats in the dugout yesterday, man. He's just Bruce Bochy is straight out of Central Casting when it comes to just the old veteran stud manager. And he is a throwback. You know, he is Jimmy Leland. He is Sparky. Well, I wouldn't say Sparky Anderson. Part of Sparky was different. Dusty was a throwback. You know, every once in a while, you've got a lot of these fresh-faced kids. Boch is just a dude that, like, put a cowboy hat and some Wranglers on him and put him on a horse, and he'd fit right in. He like Bruce Bochy 100% could have played the role of Lou Brown in Major League. And by the way, Lou Brown could have 100% been based on Bruce Bochy, other than, you know, working at a tire store when the Indians called. That's it was good to see him. It's also always bittersweet because I wish Bruce Bochy nothing but the best, and he deserves every single thing he gets. As a Giants fan, though, I also go, well, you could still. Why'd you let him go again? But then again, Bruce hasn't had to endure the Farhan Zaidi era, so in some aspects, it's good. Who is not hot, other than Farhan Zaidi, by the way, who's never hot?
Talked about him earlier, Alex Sarr.
Yes.
In the Wizards 82-80 lost the Trailblazers yesterday. Alex Sarr in 30 minutes had 0 points, shooting 0 of 15 from the field and 0 of 7 from behind the arc.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Hey, he'll be fine. Odds are he'll be just fine. It'll be a blip. But that just kind of goes to show you that this draft is just so goofy. And we're going to see the ramifications of that for years, where you're going to have a number of people either picked late, picked second round, maybe an undrafted player or two, that are going to way outperform their pick. And then you're going to have some guys, and I'm not saying it's Sarr, but it's all on the board, man. There's no sure things. Richacher, Sarr, it doesn't matter. That could just absolutely be, no offense, but you're Anthony Bennett, you're Michael Olowokandi. Olowokandi had a fairly long NBA career for somebody widely considered a bust, but that's because he was the number one pick. The higher the pick, the higher the pressure. No streaking today, as we have one more day. You know, we always say that this is dead week because it's the Major League Baseball All-Star Week, and there's nothing going on. But I also should mention, by the way, this is it. Today is the deadest day of the season, specifically today. So tomorrow's show is going to be fun because today there's nothing. There's not the home run derby. There's not the All-Star game. There is nothing. This is the single deadest sports day of the entire season. And we look forward to you joining us tomorrow from 6 to 10 to break all of it down. If there was ever a need for a trade, a firing, something.
Full speed chase.
Yes. Please happen today. Adam Silver has said the NBA, although it's more complicated than it seems, Adam Silver has said they are now going to turn their full focus, as promised, to expansion, which is really, really good news for Las Vegas and Seattle. I can only imagine what it's like to be in Seattle right now, knowing you're on the cusp. Knowing that you're just on the cusp. It's right within their grasp. Also, citing the fact that there's been 6 different champions in 6 years. He's been defending the apron model that James Dolan and so many have been talking about and angry at. And you're starting to see, some of the pain from that, if you will. Now, if you want to talk about their counterpart in the WNBA, per The Athletic, the WNBA is set to receive roughly $2.2 billion over the next 11 years. Again, another 11-year media contract. These things are long. So the rights will go to $2.2 billion. That's an average of $200 million a year. ESPN, NBC, and Amazon will all have their own WNBA packages. The WNBA's current media deals are set to expire after the 2025 season. The new rights fees could have as much as a 6x multiple on their current media rights deals. The league also believes they'll sell 2 other rights packages in addition to those and projects to bring in another $60 million annually on those deals, which would bump that up to $250 million a year. And I understand that, hey, get that. Do me a favor. Would you get Ding Dong? He needs to go bye-bye. Sorry, we got to chat dork. Good for them. And look, there's going to be a lot of stories here, that this is basically Caitlin Clark and Caitlin Clark only. And as usual, the truth lies in the middle. By the way, these deals have been negotiated before Caitlin Clark came in the league. Not finished, but they've been negotiating. But also to deny the idea that Caitlin Clark is a part of this jump is just being silly. Don't get me wrong. Again, it's usually a combination of 2 different truths. Don't get me wrong. The WNBA was already going to see a massive jump in rights deals because their popularity has been growing. But it sure as hell didn't hurt watching the Caitlin Clark show all the way through the NCAAs last year and then looking at what both attendance and rating jumps have been happening for Caitlin Clark-related events, which have brought up all tides. Look at we talked about the All-Star Game voting. What was it? 90,000 was the top vote getter last year. I think 700,000 this year. That makes these sponsors salivate. So, yeah, when you talk about, hey, Caitlin Clark is going to make everybody a lot of money, this is an example of Caitlin Clark helping to make a lot of people a lot of money, because that will soon transfer into heightened salaries for the WNBA players, which is fantastic news, especially all the they should make what they make. And if they're not profitable, they're not profitable. Okay, well, here we go. The mathematics are there now. We'll take a break. When we come back, Brendan Nunes joining us from Vegas. We'll get the sights and sounds down there from our Kings Insider. We'll do that now.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
In for Chrysler's make this the summer sales event.
Everywhere you go, things are getting more expensive, but at Hoblet, we're working to save you as much as we can, which is why right now you can save up to $15,500 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn or Laramie Hemi 4x4s. And we figured why not include no payments for 90 days.
You guys are going all out this month, aren't you?
From the time my grandfather opened the first Hoblet dealership back in 1949, one thing we've strived for is to treat you like family. That's why you'll find the big city selection and savings with over 400 Rams available, but the small town care and attention when you buy from Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
15,500 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 1500s after 8,500 factory rebates and 7,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include 2,000 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance with Chrysler Capital qualify. And 500 first responder cash for current members of the eligible First Responder Association. At least 5 of this net savings, sample VIN 190060. See dealer for details.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, the A's first pick in this year's draft is Wake Forest first baseman Nick Kurtz. Now, Kurtz, a 6'5" left-handed hitter, has drawn comparisons to Matt Olson and maybe even Hall of Famer Jim Thome. And even though the A's had the 4th pick in the draft, A's scouting director Eric Kubota said that Kurtz was the first pick on their board.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver. That includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay to store bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
Yep. Yep. Michael Dave. No Jason Ross. Jason will be back. That was weird. Jason will be back next Wednesday. And it will be me and all of you all the way through. Styles and Watkins and celebrity birthdays coming up shortly. Joining us right now in his beautiful Boston Red Sox hat. And I assume, is that your hotel room, Brendan Nunes?
We are in the hotel room.
Is that now when you say we, does that mean somebody else is there with you?
No.
Or are you speaking in the third person?
I guess I went third person for a
Good
second.
for
there.
you.
I am in the hotel room.
That's exactly what you should be doing. Speaking the third person, dude, you are the I'm promoting you to Senior Kings Insider today for coming on the program. Sorry, Frankie, who also just got promoted recently as well. How is it going so far in Vegas? I see you in dark clothes, and it's very hot down there. So there you go.
Yeah, actually, it hasn't been too bad. I was joking with my Uber when I first got here. It might not be as hot here as it was in Sacramento the previous week. So works out all right. A short little walk from the stadium. And I've been in the sun a little bit. It hasn't been too bad out here weather-wise.
I would say it reminds me of walking in a hairdryer sometimes, especially when there's a breeze there blowing through the buildings. But Brendan, this is your second visit to Summer League. Third. Wow. Look at you all grown up. It's NBA Mecca, is it not? And the sights and sounds and what I'm putting you on the spot here because maybe there isn't one, but what's like the most random person you've seen so far?
I think I walked past Sedarius Thornwell the other day, and I believe it was him. But yeah, I think Chris Watkins has described it as like the Coachella of NBA, and I feel like that's pretty accurate. You're running into people left and right. A lot of times I'm like, I think I know who that's somebody, but I can't put my finger on it. The whole Chinese national team is downstairs in this hotel a bunch. Mike Brown eating dinner the same place as me and some friends the other night. So people everywhere for sure.
Were you at all tempted to buy him an iced tea and have it delivered? I mean, it's Vegas, so probably a $4 investment. And then when the waiter tells him that that iced tea is from the table over there, you all raise your glasses to him.
I should have thought about it. We did think about sending something over, but yeah, decided against it. Let him have his time.
It is Coach
O.
O.
We're supposed to get to speak to him for what it's worth later today. And get his opinion on DeMar DeRozan, obviously, addition and everything else going on.
I'm sure you were going to ask this already, so apologies. I'm 100% positive you're going to ask this already, but on the slight, if negligible chance you weren't, please do ask him, because we'll play this audio as soon as we get it from you. Please do ask him about the coaching situation there. Is they're losing coaches like flies. Lindsey Harding, the latest to leave, and we always focus on players and those types of transactions, but they've got a bench to fill up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. They made an addition earlier in the year, a guy coming over from Gonzaga that has some familiarity with Domantas Sabonis, and Mike Brown has a good relationship with Mark Few, is my understanding. So kind of taking some of his assistance. But yeah, obviously Lindsey, Jordy moving on. Davidas Dolke is also following Jordy. My understanding is I believe Luke Laux is going to be moving to the front of the bench with a little bit of a larger role, but certainly some spots that need to be filled out. So I'll do some digging and definitely make sure to ask for you.
They lose Dolke's one Florida State player. They gain another in the front of the bench with Luke Laux, which is fantastic. And, Doug Christie as well, heading up that summer league team and slowly kind of sliding towards, sliding up closer and closer to Mike Brown. And, watching him down there, Brendan, I'm sure you probably come away with the same take we do, although we're biased because we love Doug. But, boy, this is going to be an NBA head coach someday.
Yeah, gotta love Doug. I think it's hard not to. And I think that this is a good learning experience for him. We saw Laux go through the same thing the year prior, Jordy the year before that. And I think it helps not only with an eventual head coaching spot, if that's what Doug is looking for down the line, but I think it helps guys be a better assistant. It puts you in the shoes of the head decision maker. So, Luke Laux talked last year about how it made him realize he could probably shorten the things that he's communicating to Mike and be more efficient in that way, realizing everything else he has going on, or, the media aspect of it. After that game with 31 turnovers, their first game in Vegas, Doug kind of chewed into them a little bit. And I think there's a right way to do that in media. And I think that Doug did that, but is still sort of figuring some of that stuff out, balance between being a motivator and X's and O's guy and all that stuff. So I think it's a useful process, not only for eventually being a head coach himself, but also improving as an assistant.
Listen, our job's to analyze and to take bias, even admitted bias, out of the equation, reading in between the lines of what you just said. And I think it's a fair point if you're making it. When you talked about Doug in the media, when you talked about a learning process, do you think it might have come off as a little too much Doug the player and competitor and not enough of Doug the coach and motivator?
I think that he's done a fine job with the balance. I think that it's just sort of a feeling out process in a way. And I think that being a former player, a lot of guys do respect that. And you can see the team taking on his identity, like what he was as a player. They're picking up full court, got great energy to them. And I think that being that motivator is a fine coaching style. There's just differences in ways that you want to go about it. But I think that that style is totally fine and it's fitting for Doug. I think being genuine is probably one of the most important things in any aspect of life, but obviously coaching here as well. And the players can really feel that. And Doug is definitely that motivator guy. And I think that translates to his team. Like you see it with Boogie Ellis. He talked about the energy that he brings and picking up full court, or seeing Colby do that. And Colby texting Doug after the first game in Vegas saying, "That's the worst that you'll get from me. I'll be better," and responding, clearly showing that there is a level of respect there and obviously wants to play well for Doug. So I think that he's very much been, his brand of coach, which I think is appropriate and seems to be doing well.
That's Brendan Nunes, Kings insider down in Vegas, part of the Sacktown Sports 1140 team, on location for the Summer League. We'll have all your sights and sounds, not just in talking to Brendan right now and interviews like that, but also on YouTube, on the podcasts, and all over the place where you're going to get that type of one-on-one coverage. So, Brendan, I'm going to ask you my general question I ask everybody down there before we get into the meat and potatoes of the Kings, which is, what can you pull from Summer League? What do you look for? Is it all just whatever, or are there things you're actually keeping an eye open for that are relevant to the regular season?
Yeah, wins and losses don't really do much for me. I do think that it's specific skills that I look for. Like, I think back to the first California Classic, and Bam Adebayo is bringing the ball up the floor and playing point guard. And then from there, you start to see more playmaking throughout the course of his career. I think seeing the aggressiveness level from Colby Jones change from one game to the next is an encouraging encouraging takeaway that he does respond well. Seeing Drew Timme play make in Sacramento's offense, I don't look at him as necessarily a normal roster guy, but you need valuable players in Stockton as well. And sometimes guys are a little disappointing as well. You know, I will say the two ways. I think Mason Jones has done well. Isaac Jones and Isaiah Crawford haven't really stood out to me necessarily, but obviously it's still very early. For me, I'm typically trying to look for, oh, that's new, you know, some sort of new skill with a guy that I think may be able to translate into eventual play with Sacramento or just NBA.
When you see a guy like Alex Sarr last night go 0 of 15, being the top 2 pick in the draft, we've been talking about that today. You completely blow it. I know the answer is you blow it off at Summer League, but what I'm interested in and what I've been talking about a little bit today is it's probably nothing, of course, but I do feel like this draft is going to be so random in who ends up. Like, the best player in the draft was probably picked 16th, and there's almost a guarantee that a top 5 guy is going to be a bust. They're going to be all over the place. They say a draft is a crapshoot. I feel like legit this draft is a crapshoot.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it. Reed Shepherd playing really well, but that Sarr game, man, like, I don't know, I can't just ignore that. To take that many shots, be 7 feet tall. He went to the free throw line too, and he didn't score.
And he's not a guard, like you said. It's not like he's missing threes or nothing. He's a big man.
Yeah, and just needs to play a little bit bigger. I do think extremes on either end, I will take something from those for sure. And it doesn't necessarily mean something for his whole career, but I look at that and I'm like, okay, there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, which is to be expected. But one of those guys that I think already had that question, kind of what you're getting at there, of this is a 7-foot guy and he's kind of playing like a guard. We need you to play a little bit bigger in my mind. And be more forceful getting to the rim. Like, you should be able to at least drop one in.
Unfortunately, it seems like doesn't seem like it is. Perhaps the biggest story going down in Summer League is the number 55 pick in the draft, who has predictably struggled, maybe a little unpredictably, how much he struggled, at Bronny James. The Lakers Summer League games are always packed. The vicinity there, Laker fans travel well, but it seems like this kid has been in the Goldfish Bowl. Brendan, we were talking about this yesterday. I'm torn between admiring the fact that he does not need the money and has still put in the work, the time, and the effort, coming off a literal heart attack to do this. And his only crime is being LeBron James's son. And on the other side, I think a very fair point that he is LeBron James's son. And he's perhaps taking a spot undeservedly that some other journeyman or somebody trying to break in could take, depending on if he gets a Laker roster spot on the Thanasis Antetokounmpo, type contract. Where do you fall when it comes to Bronny James?
Yeah, I feel bad a little bit. Obviously it's not like he has a bad life going on or anything, and he's got a fine setup, but I don't know. I would imagine in his shoes that there's an aspect of, like, you want to have your own journey, and in a way that's kind of getting taken from him in my mind. But the consensus around here, and I agree with it, is that he was going to get picked. It just, because of the LeBron situation, obviously he went to the Lakers specifically. but he was going to get picked. There is a level of talent there. I think that he seems level-headed when you're comparing yourself to Derek White, Davion Mitchell, or even throwing Drew Holiday in there. I think that's a reasonable expectation for his sort of style of play. Interesting defender, great feel for the game. He shot the ball really well at the combine. And the context of last year obviously is just pretty screwed with everything that happened with his condition. Obviously Isaiah Collier being there as well, Boogie Ellis, guys that it made it tough for him to really break the rotation, but everybody believes that he would have been drafted despite what his name is. It's just the fact that he went to the Lakers is really what came out of this. But I think he's an interesting prospect. I do think that all the coverage can be a little bit much for me when I'm getting a Bleacher Report notification that he scored 4 points in a game. I kind of roll my eyes a little bit, but I get it. It's going to get clicks, but I hope that things go well for him.
Brandon Nunez down in Vegas for Kings Summer League. Devin Carter not playing. That's disappointing. We have not talked, you and I, since the news came out about Devin Carter and the shoulder issue. How did that come down for you when you realized that the lottery pick the Kings made is very likely going to be out until somewhere around the trade deadline? And we were talking about it last week. That's just the reevaluation. This guy may miss most, if not his entire rookie season. Obviously, you don't want to see that, Brendan, but how deeply did that bother you when you heard that, considering he was the number 13 pick of the draft?
Yeah, it was something in hindsight I think I should have realized at the intro presser, because I asked Monty McNair about the importance or the value of getting early production on guys on rookie deals, and he started by talking about the injury. And I was kind of confused, and obviously in hindsight makes sense. But I think that the 6-month mark when we first got that release is at some point in January. It'd be about a third of the year. And it's not great, but I don't think that it necessarily changes anything. I do think that having these guards on your roster, all of a sudden it doesn't look like necessarily as much of a logjam. You could be a little bit more patient to move on from Kevin Huerter, if that's still the idea, because he's still valuable and there's less, like I said, of a logjam necessarily with Devin not being there. But I don't think it really changes that much. I would still expect to see him throughout the course of this year. I'm curious how he went through last season seemingly dealing with this. And it's the 1 year that his shooting numbers were really impressive. So I'm going to try to, dig into that a little bit more, but it's obviously not great. I still doesn't really change anything for me on the idea of taking him, or I would imagine it probably didn't have much of an impact with him falling, quote unquote, to Sacramento there at 13. But I still think long-term, he's a guy that makes a lot of sense. You still need a starting 2. And a lot of your first year in the NBA is just getting used to the travel, the preparation. And, you see a guy like Chet Holmgren do really well in his rookie year because he had that first year as well, I think, to get a feel for everything that goes on. So I still think that the time that he's around the team will be valuable. And eventually, once he gets out there, I think he's going to be an impact player pretty early on, and hopefully can do that in the postseason.
We talked about that. Blake Griffin, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Chet Holmgren. There's a long list of players that missed most, if not their entire rookie year, and ended up having a phenomenal, air quotes, rookie year as well. What has, if anything, his involvement been? I've seen videos of him, in the lineup, hanging around, but he seems, Brendan, like he is engaged with the team as much as he can be.
Yeah, definitely been talking with Doug. He's been around at the practices and, sitting courtside at the games. After Colby Jones hit his second or third three, he's running down the court and Devin stands up and gives him a high five. Or when we're talking to Kobe after the game, their second game, last game here in Vegas, Devin comes up behind him, puts bunny ears, and is messing around with them and talking about how did you see this guy today? He was totally balling out. So definitely seems to be involved. He seems like an outgoing personality for sure. But definitely been around, like I was saying. I think that getting that experience, even if you're not getting the reps, but getting to have the conversations and just see how everything works is still valuable, even though obviously you'd rather him be out there.
You mentioned the shoulder issue, and there are thoughts that maybe if it's not an exact replica, that the surgeries both Herter and Devin Carter got are very, very similar. And one of the things we've struggled in the offseason with listeners and Kings fans is, should the Kings, who are kind of imbalanced down low right now, should they be making another major move? Should they still be in the market for Kuzma? Markkanen seems kind of, off. Hearing what the Warriors are being asked for, it seems like he's off the table. Levine doesn't make sense anymore. Ingram probably doesn't make sense anymore. Should the Kings still be in the market? Or, and this is what I was bringing up a couple days ago, Brendan, the Kings have limited assets to work with now, Kevin Herter being one of them, but at the bottom of his value. Would you rather see Herter get some games in, maybe up his value, and on top of that be able to assess 20, 30, 40 games of the season, what deficiencies they even need to fill with DeMar DeRozan? Because I'm not convinced we know for a fact what those deficiencies are going to be.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think there's a chance that Kevin Herter is even more valuable with DeMar on the roster. It's another guy that, draws a lot of defensive attention, kicks out to shooters, is a good, smart playmaker in that aspect. And Kevin's really good in Sacramento's offense. I know that he hasn't shot the ball well, but if he can get some of that rhythm confidence back, like, he's a valuable player. There's a reason that they traded a first-round pick to get him. I think he's on a solid deal and he has some value. So I think that they're back at the point where they can be patiently aggressive, almost, in a way. Opportunistic is typically the wording that I use for them. Of, they're going to call around. I do think that there is an obvious need for an upgrade at the 3-4. You do need another wing forward, a little bit more size on this roster, specifically defensively, in my mind. But right now, it kind of seems like you're adding DeRozan almost feels like you're aiming for what you were able to do that year prior when you led the league in offense. You're doubling down on your strengths, right? Where obviously the defense still not quite there, but the creation that DeMar provides for himself and others, which I think that Kevin could be very valuable in that aspect, is important. And getting your clutch numbers back up, it seems like very much leaning into their strengths. And I think Kevin Herter is a big part of that. So I'd expect him to be calling around for sure, but I don't think that there's necessarily a need to do anything with him right now, as long as he's still in a fine mindset about coming back to Sacramento.
Well, we hope you get your opportunity to speak with Coach Brown tonight. Just verifying, Chris Verlaud's email address, right, to send that?
I do.
Sure. Not that we're desperate for content, but
I do.
Have fun down there. I tell you the same thing I tell everybody. If you get a chance, and I'll happily pay for the Uber, about 5 miles off the strip, John Mull's Roadkill Grill. It's my favorite thing about Las Vegas. It's in the middle of a suburban area. It's 3 lots that have been taken over by John Mull and his company to create literal world-class barbecue. If you get a chance, for under $20, you get 3 meats piled high, along with a bunch of sides. It is my favorite food experience I've ever had in Vegas. So if you get a chance, get out there.
Yeah, I might need to do that tonight. I'll report back to you.
Okay, brother. I appreciate that. Take care. Safe travel. How long are you down there for?
Come back Friday morning. So catching all the games.
Okay. Good luck down there. Good luck on your way back. Thanks as always, brother.
Appreciate it.
All right. That's Brendan Nunes, Sacramento Kings insider for Sacktown Sports, joining us with a lot of interesting stuff. We've got a minute left. I'll address the chat, by the way. Hello, chat, and everybody in there. Also on the text line at 916-339-1140. Mark is generally in the chat, and he's caught my eye because he said one of the bucket list items for him is running with the Bulls. And I think I think he's said this before. This sounds familiar to me. And I said, why? And he said, why not? Well, I'm glad you asked. Why would you not want to participate in the running of the Bulls? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that you're running from Bulls. You're literally voluntarily running. It's not the running of the bull, or maybe you could juke it, maybe slap a steak or something on somebody's back. I don't know what Bull's like. I guess the steak would be the wrong thing. In retrospect, that's a bad decision. Whatever it may be, bull food. Hey. Get a bag of Purina bull chow and toss it. But no, it's the running of the bulls. People die. Now, look, I don't ever want anyone to die. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, deserved it. No. I mean, okay, if you're like evil or something, but I'm saying like Norm Macdonald had a bit. It was right after the crocodile hunter died. And he was like, yeah, the crocodile hunter died. Everyone's really depressed and shocked that the crocodile hunter died. He literally put himself in danger constantly. I was sad. I loved the show. But Norm made a little bit of sense. Like, And then he went on to talk about, like, what the other crocodiles were talking about. Like, hey, who got him? Fred? Bill? Now some stupid fish. Like how bad the rest of the crocodiles felt that they weren't the one. You're running from bulls. Some of the heaviest, most hardcore, dangerous animals in the world. And you're doing it voluntarily. When I hear a story about somebody dying when we're on the bulls, and it's like, Leroy Tomlinson from nearby Malaga, Spain, 33 with 3 kids and a beautiful wife. They put a picture up. R.I.P. Leroy Tomlinson. He died running from the bulls. And I go through this gamut of emotions because I'm like, number one, I'm like, oh man, that sucks. Like poor guy and family. On the other hand, I'm like, how stupid and selfish do you have to? You have a young family and you're running from bulls.
I will admit that I tend to laugh when you see a bull just plow down somebody, especially in like those rodeo type of things.
I'm okay. Look.
And me as a bull victim.
I know, right, exactly. You have more right than anyone to have just a vendetta against bulls. I'm just going to come out and say, look, I root for the bulls, okay? And when it comes to PBR, I say that to the writers. I don't want anybody to get seriously hurt, but when you get on this poor bull who's all kinds of pissed off and trying to buck you off, and I see some rider launch 30 feet left, I'm like, let's go, baby. Let's go, Midnight Tornado, or whatever the bull name is. I can think of a lot. I got bucket list things, and I know everybody's tastes are different. You know what my bucket list items are? Seeing the Coliseum, seeing the Parthenon, playing around at Augusta, going to the Masters, jet skiing in New Zealand. I don't know. And I understand that, look, I don't want to skydive. My brother isn't a massive adrenaline junkie. He just did like his 82nd. He's trying to get his license. He just did like his 82nd dive. I'm not in any way interested in jumping out of a perfectly good working airplane. That's just me. But running from bulls, have at it. I don't want to yuck anyone's yum, though I spent the last 5 minutes yucking a yum here. I do not understand the mentality of, hey, for fun, I'm going to fly to Spain and they're going to release a bunch of bulls and I'm going to run from them and hope that I don't get gored or trampled. And then afterwards, I'm going to have a fine dinner and raise a glass. You know what I say? Fly to Spain, watch all the goofballs running from the bulls from a safe distance, preferably elevated, then do the dinner and the beer. Do it all, just bull free.
Go to the town that does the tomato fight.
Tomato fight's fine. Still might hurt a little bit. You catch one in the nose or something, maybe in the eye. Tomato in the eye, greater than sign. Bullhorn in the groin, or the other, part behind the groin that I've seen before. You're running away. Well, what's facing the bull? Nice target. I don't want a bull's. I don't want a bull's horn anywhere near my Cheerio. Let's just put it that way. Keep it over there, dog. Bull. But God bless you, Mark. If you decided to do it, send pictures. We'll take a break. When we come back, what to watch, and then, of course, crosstalk, celebrity birthdays, and more right after this.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh, my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
The wild-eyed Southern boys are back. 38 special. Rock it into the night. Friday, July 19th at 7:30 at the venue at Thunder Valley. With Lou Graham, the original voice of Foreigner. Tickets on sale now. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss 38 Special Live.
18 number ones. Countless ACM and CMA awards. Sold out world tours. And now, Dierks Bentley is coming to Sacramento for Country in the Park 2. September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Parmalee, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Plus line dancing, food trucks, and more. Tickets available now at CITVFest.com.
Brought to you by McKee Brothers, Clemmy Reuter and Inc. and Dawson Oil Company.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of those spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Summer is finally here, and so are all the best deals on DeWalt power tools at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. Drills, impacts, circular saws, you name it, we have it for the best price in town, guaranteed. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned tradesman, we've got all the DeWalt products you need to crush your next project. So come on down to Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet today on Power and Road for better tools at better prices. For more info, visit FastenersInc.net.
Quick Quack Car Wash takes the drama out of keeping your car clean.
Let's wash the car. Don't spray the hose inside the car. Oh.
Our convenient wash packages make it easy to get your car soaked, scrubbed, and on your way. Protect your car from sun, rain, and pollen with a ceramic duct wash and get our in-wash light show and an unbeatable clean.
Oh, the kids filled the gas tank with water.
Of course they did. Quick Quack Car Wash. Come in today and get 25% off any wash.
I'm a very active person that likes to move around and go. The pain I was in was really excruciating. It was actually debilitating. I was basically heading towards a sedentary lifestyle. I had really tried everything, but I quickly lost hope with all of the things that we had tried, and that's what led me to the Good Feet store. And when I found the Good Feet system, it really just changed everything. It brought me back to life. I have my active lifestyle back.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Carmichael Dave. He has very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ross.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say. He's good at what he does.
On Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back. Summertime means nothing shines brighter than your car when you wash a Quick Quack car wash. Just took my wife's there yesterday, as a matter of fact. Now through July 31st, you get 25% off any single wash during Quick Quack's summertime savings event. Visit your nearest Quick Quack today and save. Today's keyword for your opportunity to enter to win a 30-day Quick Quack membership. 916-339-1140. That's 916-339-1140. That's your text line. And your secret word for the day is bucket. Bucket. Text bucket to 916-339-1140. Cleaning up the text line because we have all agreed, I think, that the run from the bulls is safer than the run from the hippos. I will not mess with a hippo. Like, all respect for hippos. I've said before, give me hippo week instead of shark week. Hippo greater than sign shark, in my opinion. But 500 people on average are killed by hippos per year. Ugh. What a horrible way to go, man.
I saw it was like on Twitter is a hippo going through the river that was just infested with crocodiles, and all the crocodiles are like moving, like, oh, get out of the way.
Right. Like, no one's messing with a hippo. In fact, does a hippo have a predator? I don't think so.
No.
What's going to predate a hippo? That's not how you say it, but
man.
I guess so. But I've also never heard of that either. Weird enough, hippos are giant. I have, until just 3 seconds ago, gone my entire lifetime neither hearing nor even considering the idea of, can you eat a hippo? Like, I've never heard of anyone munching on a hippo steak or rib or drumstick. I mean, they're huge. I can't imagine they're all fat. But I've never heard that. Hey, we're going hippo hunting. Oh, I wonder what a hippo would taste like. Chicken. But what would it really? Would a hippo taste more like fish? Is like a hippo like the pig of the sea? Like, or is it porky? I don't want to find out, but I'd like for somebody to do it and tell me. I don't think it's beefy.
During the start of the 20th century, a group of eclectic men decided to tackle America's meat crisis by introducing hippopotamus meat into the American diet. Hippo steak may have become a common menu item today had they succeeded.
Do we know why they failed? I know
I'm
you're
guessing it was like getting them over here. That's like, oh, the other thing.
Well, you should kill them first.
In Colombia, it was I'm trying to think of the huge drug lord that was down there in the 80s. Pablo Escobar. He had a few hippos like at his compound, and the people that were arresting like, oh, we don't know how to take care of hippos and just let them loose. And they're taking over like the jungle in Colombia because they don't have any natural predators.
No, here we go. As you said, it's eaten in Africa. Has been considered for inclusion in the American diet. Africans enjoy hippo meat because it's flavorful and fatty. And some early 20th century men proposed that hippos could be a solution to America's meat crisis. In 1910, Senator Robert Broussard suggested importing hippos from Africa to Louisiana to free range and harvest for food. The idea was that the hippos could replace cattle, reduce swamp pollution, and feed Americans. Some considered the idea practical, and both the New York Times and Washington Post suggested that Americans might soon be eating hippo bacon instead of Texas beef. However, the idea ultimately fell through. I need to find out why. Because now I'm looking at like Google images of like a hippo steak. It looks like a steak. Not going to lie. Like, it looks like an actual legit steak. Oh, there's a hippo head. Gross. I didn't expect to see that. Look, I'm already past the point where I'm going to look. I admit I am past the point in my life where I'm going to be welcoming in any meats. Okay. I have all the meats that I'm willing to eat. Beef, chicken, pork, shrimp, well, shellfish, fish, but only if it's sushi, not cooked fish, because I don't like cooked fish. What do you want from me? It's weird. I love sushi. I hate cooked fish. It stinks. It stinks and it tastes like it smells. I know that's like my daughter can't eat cilantro because it tastes like dish soap, and I love cilantro. I get it. Like, I don't like IPAs and I don't like cooked fish, but I love lox. I love smoked.
Like fish and chips, you can't do.
So that's the only one I can really do. And even then, it's not like I've never been like, I need some fish and chips. That sounds wonderful. It was like, I'm in England. I'm going to have some fish and chips. Oh, here's the best compliment I've ever given to fish and chips or cooked fish I've had. That's actually not that bad. That means it's a 5-star. Like, we caught salmon in Oregon a couple years ago. We caught a couple of salmon and put them on the grill that night. And it was the best cooked salmon I have ever had in my entire life by far. It was cooked perfectly. It tasted amazing. And that rated actually, it's not that bad. I finished my plate, but I've never been like, I want a salmon steak. Never. And that's about it. I can eat lamb, but it has to be in Euro meat. I've tried like lamb chops and lamb. I don't need any deer or boar or elk or moose or antelope.
Have you tried it?
I've tried all but moose.
Oh.
Yeah. Never tried bear either. I'm good. I don't think I could incorporate hippo. I don't think I could bring hippo into the diet. MC says halibut is the best tasting fish. Strangely enough, as opposite as we are, there are some weird similarities. I completely agree with him. If I had to have any cooked fish, it would be halibut.
I hit the wrong button.
I think halibut is the least fishy tasting fish, maybe. I mean, some would say tilapia. But also, I've read some things about tilapia that aren't great.
Yeah, where you find out like it's not tilapia.
Yeah, right. Well, that's
like
the
scary thing about seafood too.
Dude, you're so right. And like, I'm not gonna lie. I used to eat the Subway. Every once in a while, I'd have the whatever the seafood sandwiches at Subway.
Tuna?
No, there's tuna, but then there's also like seafood salad. But they put that fake crab in there.
Uh-huh.
Right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like the crab
Imitation
sticks.
crab.
Yeah. And I actually have eaten, like, I've actually gone out before and been like, oh, I'm going to get this fake crab for $5, chop it up, make it like tuna, like, little mayo, celery, make that, put it, that's a refreshingly nice sandwich, right? Then I saw how they make it. And I understand I eat hot dogs and the hypocrisy, but have you ever seen how they, like, what's in that imitation crab?
Nope.
Yeah, don't do it. Just enjoy the imitation crab, dude. Trust me. We'll take a break. When we come back, we wrap up the show. Crosstalk, celebrity birthdays, and more. Styles and Watkins next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Summers are for Sacramento Rivercats baseball. Your Rivercats are home this weekend, which includes the fan favorite Star Wars night on Saturday, July 20th. Bid on limited edition Star Wars jerseys and meet your favorite characters throughout the game. Elevate your experience with the VIP home plate tailgate while tickets last, and stick around postgame for a Star Wars-themed fireworks spectacular. For more details and to purchase tickets, visit rivercats.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
What's up? Talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's happening for Chrysler's Make This the Summer Sales events?
Right now, save up to $12,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 2500 Laramie Tradesman. For work or for play, you pick. If you need a heavy-duty Ram truck, Hoblet should be your first stop to find what you need at the best price.
Oh, you're going all out this month.
From the time my grandfather opened the first Hoblet dealership back in 1949, one thing we've strived for is to treat you like family. That's why you'll find the big city selection and savings with over 400 Rams available, but the small town care and attention when you buy from Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram.
You won't find a bigger selection or better deals on the truck you want. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
12,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 2500 and 3500s after 2,000 Hoblet select inventory bonus cash. Lambie's include 9,500 dealer discount and 500 first responder bonus cash for current members of qualifying First Responder Association. Tradesmen include 7,000 dealer discounts and 5,000 factory rebates. Rebates include 1,500 commercial bonus cash for current business owners with valid tax ID. At least 5 of each offer. Sample VIN 103767 and 221741. See dealer for details.
Right now, you're missing all the fun at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range powered by Top Tracer. It's the place to be this summer in Sacramento. Whether you're an accomplished player or a newbie, there's something for everyone at the Hagen Oaks Nighttime Driving Range. Golf is happening right now, and the Hagen Oaks Driving Range is the perfect place to see what the fuss is all about. The Hangout Food Truck offers tasty bites and craft beers on the brand new relaxed patio, and with a free concert schedule, there's always something for everyone at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range. Join the fun tonight until midnight. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things.
And now,
here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Let's go, baby. All right. Yeah. Styles Watkins coming at you live from the KHTK studios. Guys, today's the day.
Really?
Yes, it is the most unique day in sports radio. Okay.
I know why.
Go on. Because today is the deadest day of the year. That's right. There is no day that is deader than today.
Yes. It's disrespectful to Summer League, but yeah.
Summer League, WNBA, I understand that.
Matas.
What? Huh?
Matas Buzelis.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, very disrespectful. There is no USA. Major League Baseball. There is no NBA. There is no NFL. There is no hockey. There's not even Olympics.
Yeah. You know, this just really, it's really a day where you can just dig deep into your creative juices and see what you can come up with. I actually feel outstanding about the show today.
Yeah.
And it's funny you say that, Dave, because I look around and I think there's too much content. Me and Chris are fighting about what's going to go here and when are we going to do this and that. Sure. So, you know, I hear you, Dave, but, you know, it's Styles and Watkins.
Well,
we got juice.
Today on the show, we, amongst other things, talked about drunken national anthems.
Oh.
We spent the last segment talking about why isn't hippo meat more prevalent in America.
There's probably a lot of it, right?
Found out that in 1912 they tried to get it to replace cattle.
Wow.
Not Nick, but actual beef.
Hippos?
Hippo. And it actually looks like...
I feel like farming those would be a little
problematic.
I'm
afraid of hippos.
Yeah, I hear they're Not nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I heard they can be aggressive.
They're like I've said before, screw Shark Week. Let's play. Give me Hippo Week, dude, and educate people.
Yeah,
because hippos are no joke, bro.
You know, we had at the Ballers.
That's the most frat thing. Hippos are no joke, bro.
Every basically every Ballers game is themed. So we had Zoo Day with the Oakland Zoo. Do you know what is the only big cat that doesn't roar?
The only big cat. Andres Galarraga. See what I did there? That's his name.
I know.
Big cat. Tiger roars.
Yep.
Lion roars.
Yep.
Does a lioness roar? I don't know. Let's say they do, because that's not. Yeah, okay. And we're not talking like one of them. What is it? A barn cat or something?
Onslaught.
No.
Yeah. What?
Cheetah.
Oh yeah.
Cheetah.
Yeah. Doesn't the cheetah
Thanks
make
for
like
letting me play?
Sorry, Chris. Doesn't the cheetah make like a really stupid sound?
I don't know, but they're my favorite animal.
I think it like meows.
Yeah, can you grab the cheetah roar, please? Because I think I saw this recently, and it's something just dumb.
Would they bring back? So there was Pros versus Joes, but then there was also the one where they would race animals. Do you remember? That wasn't the same show.
Wasn't the one where Michael Phelps like raced a shark? Or
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Something versus Beast. I feel like Beast was in the name.
Man versus Beast.
Man versus Beast. I believe it was on Fox.
And they were racing cheetahs.
And they were like.
That's what you need right now.
Doing a tug of war with an orangutan.
Ooh, no shit. But you have to. I would watch that, but only if there's like real stakes, like legit. Like have like a
like Khabib really needs to wrestle a bear
for real.
Yeah, like a cage match.
And we'll see what happens. The winner gets dinner. Either way,
yeah.
I'm watching that on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
A couple of quick notes for you, gentlemen. Let's see. Sotheby's estimated that a Stegosaurus fossil it was auctioning off this morning would sell in between $4 and $6 million. Guys, it sold for $44.6 million.
Inflation.
That's a new record for a dinosaur skeleton. I got to be
honest.
It's
not like the whole thing. It's just
I think
like
it is
one.
the whole
Oh,
thing.
okay.
No,
I thought it was just a little.
No, you're down. I think of all the dinosaur skeletons, isn't the T-Rex the one you'd want? I know you have to have room for it.
You said that was a Stegosaurus?
Stegosaurus.
Yeah, I'm not paying. I'd rather just pay the premium.
Maybe a Triceratops. That'd be cool to have the head of it.
Yeah.
I like a raptor.
A Velociraptor.
I hear they're small though. I hear they're smaller than we think. They're like little chickens.
Cheaper than.
Yeah.
They were the dinosaur chickens.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have the space, don't you want like a Brontosaurus?
I was saying a T-Rex. I think a T-Rex is the one. We saw it in Jurassic Park. It did well.
I can't believe they're still. It's these movies where they decide to bring it back, and then they say, "Oh, people are actually watching." Because I saw something, I think ScarJo is going to be in the newest one, and she got, I guess, welcomed into the Jurassic Park universe.
Who?
Scarlett Johansson.
You just roll with ScarJo?
That's her nickname.
Yeah. Is it really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that. Sorry. You said ScarJo, and honest to God, I thought of the bad lion in Lion King. And I was like,
I did like
stopped
Scar
for a second. Like, what is, okay, I apologize. Go
ahead. I just was saying, now all of a sudden they're still they did the same thing with Planet of the Apes. They're still making Jurassic Parks. They're still making Planet of the Apes. They're still making Ghostbusters. Still making Star Wars. Are we good? Are we good with that?
No,
I guess people must be watching.
Nobody has any ideas anymore.
There's only so many keys on a piano.
Yeah. I have never. Here's a confession.
That sounds like
that's
it
a
could be a
raptor.
dinosaur. No, I think that's the cheetah.
This is a cheetah.
Oh, that's a cheetah. This is a cheetah.
That's not intimidating.
That sounds like my
almost
cat
like a
when it's
hyena.
5 o'clock.
No wonder it can run 60 miles an hour.
Fight or flight, and that thing ain't fighting.
Right.
You're not going to disrespect the cheetah.
No, I love the cheetah. I'm just saying it sounds like a dingle. It's just dumb. It's a dumb sound for an animal to make.
You're not going to disrespect the cheetah.
I'm sorry. It's super intimidating. Oh no, a cheetah. I'm not saying I'd fight a cheetah.
Who's your favorite animal?
I love the honey badger, man.
Yeah, cheetah's messing up the honey badger. Yes. Stop it.
No way.
Stop it. Stop it.
More of a koala.
All right, celebrity birthdays as we go to Google here. Cheetah versus honey badger.
Animorphs.
You know koalas? I saw this thing on koalas once. I was like, they're the stupidest animal. Like, legitimately, like the dumbest animal there is.
Yeah.
And
they are being ravaged by chlamydia.
They all have the clap. They're all inbred. Did you ever see the one of my favorite memes though involves a koala, because they're the ones that they grab the koala tree with the leaves, right? And there was a picture of it was Bear Grylls wiping his rear end with a eucalyptus leaf, like you do, and then the next slide is a koala with its eyes wide open, like, really, dude? Anyways, look at this. 3 leopards have epic battle with honey badger. 3 leopards, not people losing limbs. 3 leopards gang up on 1 honey badger, but soon regret their decision.
That's a leopard, not a cheetah.
Dude, come on, man.
Cheetahs are faster than leopards.
Where does one find the honey badger? Like, is it only
the honey badger?
Like, are most badgers as dangerous as the honey badger?
No, the honey badger, I think, is the one. They're located in the honey badger fields.
Right.
Forget when the first time you looked up what a wolverine actually looked like.
Yeah. Weird. Not a fan. Celebrity birthdays.
It is David Hasselhoff's birthday.
75.
The Hoff is 73.
76.
Alan is the closest, 72. OG Ananobi.
Ooh. Somebody should hit this.
27, I think. It's going to be plus or minus a year.
I'll say 27 sounds right. I'll say 26.
I think you're going the wrong way, brother. 28.
Brother.
We've got a correct answer. Carmichael Dave, 27.
You guys would
His knees
are Luke Bryan. How old is Luke Bryan today?
Oh, tight G.
43.
The one on the boys?
Yes. No, that's is he? Yeah. I thought it was another guy. Blake
he was on. Blake was on.
That's not who.
That's the extent of my memory.
Yeah, let's say
Luke Bryan.
48.
48.
What did you say?
43.
Yeah, he's 45.
Correct answer, Chris Watkins, 48. And a light birthdays today. One last one. Brett Goldstein, also known as Roy Kent of Glasgow.
Oh, I love that guy.
Okay.
He is, I'm going to say 43 again.
I'll say 41.
He's active, man. He's been around. 45.
Probably.
We got a tie between Dave and Ali. 44.
44. Coming up on the show today, all kinds of content.
Yeah. We're breaking down all things Summer League as we discussed, but also as we talk about the Kings and what they've accomplished so far this offseason. If Vegas is right, and they're at 45.5, and let's say 45 wins, what happens if Vegas is right and they're back in the play-in? Are we talking about blowing it up next season?
Sounds like coming up next. Bye-bye.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal.